is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. The Commissioner of Police says a senior officer has been placed on leave over brutality claims. Healthcare unions in the dark on the vaccine rollout. They're saying they feel disrespected by the government as 2 more women die from COVID-19. And in our interview today, we are talking with the British High Commissioner, Sarah Dixon. We're discussing the relationship between the Bahamas and the UK. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's there. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Wednesday, March 10th, 2021. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Chester Robards will be joining us. Our discussion with the British High Commissioner, Sarah Dixon, will continue into Morning Blend business as we discuss business opportunities between the two countries. That's coming up at 9. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you were sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, a senior police officer placed on administrative leave pending an investigation into allegations that he assaulted a man in his custody. Commissioner of Police Paul Roll and Minister of National Security Marvin Dames confirming this yesterday. That action, taken after a voice note, began circulating on Monday of a man who identified himself as an assistant superintendent of police, allegedly beating a man while other purported officers voiced support of the beating. Roll saying that he has, quote, taken a course of action. The complaint unit is conducting their investigation into that matter, and the officer has been placed on administrative leave. That will go through the due process. Roll also saying that he wanted to say that he doesn't support the type of behavior that the audio clip suggests is taking place. He said he thinks that they've been doing quite a bit to improve the image of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. The commissioner also saying that the voice note, which lasts for nearly 5 minutes, was sent to him on Monday. In the audio, a man who identifies himself as a senior officer is heard to be saying, quote, "You know who I is." He reveals his name and rank and asks a man, quote, "You hear me? Put your hands down. Look at me. Look at me." His comments are followed by the sound of a slap. Another man who is believed to be an officer is heard encouraging that officer. In other news, the heads of 3 major healthcare unions in the country saying that they have received no information from the government on how the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccine will take place when it arrives in the country today. Consultant Physician Staff Association President Dr. Sabrika Pinder-Butler saying the lack of communication is, quote, disappointing and disrespectful. Bahamas Nurses Union President Amanda Williams saying her union discovered the government's plans the same day the rest of the country did. And the Bahamas Doctors Union President Dr. Melisande Bassett saying she too has heard nothing from the government on the rollout of the vaccine. A batch of 20,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine, a donation from the government of India, is set to arrive in the Bahamas today at noon. The CPSA has roughly 120 members, the BDU has 432, and the BNU has 2,000. On Sunday, Prime Minister Dr. Ibrahim said healthcare workers will be among the first group of people to receive the vaccine. He said it's expected that healthcare workers will begin getting their vaccines and could be able to book their vaccines online within days of the arrival of the vaccine. He did say that details on how the appointment process will work will be published within the next few days. The Ministry of Health reporting that 2 women have died as a result of COVID-19. They're both from New Providence. One of the women, who was 62, died on March 7th. The other, a 57-year-old, died on March 8th. The latest deaths pushed the number of COVID-19 deaths to 185. The ministry is saying that 39 people died with COVID-19, but not because of it, and an additional 15 deaths are under investigation. One new case, a woman from Abaco, was reported for March 8th. The total number of COVID-19 cases in the country so far standing at 8,642. There are 920 active cases, and a total of 7,483 people have recovered from the virus. 17 people remain in the hospital. To date, 70,352 tests have been conducted. 88 tests were done on March 8th. And Chief Medical Officer Dr. Pearl McMillan saying that health officials are awaiting a review of the COVID-19 situation in Abaco before they determine whether any restrictions should be relaxed on that island. We're told the team went in and will be doing a comprehensive review of where things stand at this point. Due to an increase in reported cases on that island, the Prime Minister changed the island's curfew to start at 8 p.m. and end at 5 a.m. on February 28th, beginning at that date. He also said that for about 2 weeks, residents traveling from mainland Abaco to other islands would be required to take an RT-PCR test. Overseas, in countries with historic ties to Britain, allegations by Prince Harry and Meghan that an unnamed member of the royal family had concerns over how dark their unborn baby's skin might be have raised a thorny question. Do those nations really want to be closely connected to Britain and its royal family anymore? It was expected the interview would expose more rifts in the royal family. Now it seems to be risking divisions within the family of the Commonwealth, an association of 54 countries, most of them former British colonies, held together by historic ties. For decades, Queen Elizabeth II has been the driving force behind the Commonwealth. After the interview shown in the U.S. on the eve of Commonwealth Day, former Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull cited it as another reason for the country to sever its constitutional ties to the British monarchy. The value of the Commonwealth has been debated before, with critics questioning if countries and people once colonized and even oppressed should remain in such an association with a former colonizer. Its stated aim is to improve international relations, but Britain's relationship with the members has been clouded by diplomatic missteps and the legacy of empire. In a speech to mark Commonwealth Day on Monday, the Queen spoke to the, quote, spirit of unity. Reaction to the interview was especially fierce in Africa. It was encapsulated by one Twitter user in South Africa who wrote, quote, "It's Britain and the royal family. What did you expect? They oppressed us for years." Meghan and Harry traveled to South Africa in 2019, where their impending split with the royal family became clearer, and they even spoke of possibly living there. In Kenya, a former colony where young Princess Elizabeth was visiting in 1952 when she learned about the death of her father, and thus that she would become queen, news of the interview has also begun appearing in the country's newspapers. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau declining to comment on the interview. He said many institutions in Canada are built around colonialism and systemic racism, including Parliament, and he said the answer is to listen to Canadians who face discrimination so that institutions can be fixed. In sports, it's approaching 1 year since after-school sports were shut down around the country in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, which continues to wreak havoc. With school children back in school for the most part, there's optimism that high school sports might be able to resume, allowing student athletes to close out the school year with some sort of activity. But that outlook is still looking grim as the days, weeks, and months go by. In the Bahamas Association of Independent Secondary Schools, BAISS, everything's still at a standstill with no meetings taking place, and student athletes are not allowed to gather for practices and training sessions, and there are no games. Coaches have said privately that their respective schools have already made decisions to pull participation of their student athletes in sports for this year, 2021, taking it completely off the table. Meanwhile, with the Government Secondary School Sports Association, the GSSA, there is still some hope. GSSA leaders are set to meet with the sports unit of the Ministry of Education today on the way forward for 2021. You can read more about this in today's Guardian Sports section, and we will keep you posted. Overseas from the NBA, the All-Star break is over, and the NBA returns today with a pair of games, Washington at Memphis and San Antonio at Dallas. Another 21 teams start their second half slates tomorrow, Thursday, and the remaining teams get back on the court on Friday. Home teams have gone 285 to 248 this season, a .535 winning percentage. It's on pace to be the lowest in NBA history. The record in that department, .551, set last season, and it was trending that way before the pandemic. The bubble and playing the final 88 regular season games without fans had nothing to do with that change. In fact, home teams in the bubble won 56% of their games at Walt Disney World. But this year, teams believe the lack of fans factors into home court advantage. Plus, road teams are getting more rest than usual. They're often in one city for multiple days to play a pair of games and typically can't leave their hotels for anything other than basketball. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your first look at weather for today, we've got a strong high-pressure system centered east off the coast of the Carolinas that continues to support fresh to strong winds over the Bahamas through tonight. Small craft operators and beachgoers are still being urged to remain in port and stay out of the water due to dangerous marine conditions due to high seas, gusty winds, very rough surf, and life-threatening rip currents. Motorists and pedestrians traveling along north and east coast roads, especially the Glass Window Bridge in Eleuthera and the Fishing Hole Road in Grand Bahama, should exercise extreme caution as sea spray, wind-blown sand, and overtopping waves can reduce visibility and create hazardous driving conditions. For all areas today, your forecast calls for mostly cloudy, windy, and a bit warmer than yesterday, with a few passing showers in the northwest and central Bahamas, isolated showers and a slight chance of an isolated thunderstorm in the southeast Bahamas. Again, small craft operators should remain in port. Winds northeast to east at 20 to 25 knots in the northwest Bahamas, northeast to east at 20 to 30 knots in the central and southeastern islands. Seas 7 to 10 feet in the northwest Bahamas, but 8 to 12 feet, with slightly higher in large northeasterly swells in the central and southeastern islands. Right now, it's about 69 degrees in Nassau. We've got light rain in some parts of New Providence. We're looking at highs getting up to around 77 Fahrenheit today, 25 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 66 Fahrenheit, 19 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up in a few minutes just after traffic. Stay with us. It is time for a break. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Email us morningblend@nasgard.com. Or you can text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Chester Robarts is going to join us in just a moment. We're going to give you the numbers to call in just a bit. Coming up this morning, more weather and traffic. In our 8 o'clock hour, we're going to begin our conversation with the British High Commissioner, Sarah Dixon. We're going to be talking about the relationship between the Bahamas and the UK and the many issues of concern and that we have in common. We're going to be talking about that. That's going to extend into our Morning Blend Business Hour, where we're going to talk about business opportunities between the two countries. So a lot to talk about this morning. We're looking forward to that. That's coming up. But right now, it's time to get into what else is in the news. And in the news, 2 more victims from COVID-19. 2 women have passed away. One 62-year-old dying on March 7th, and the other a 57-year-old dying on March 8th. The death toll from COVID since the pandemic began almost a year ago here in the Bahamas, up to 185 now. 39 people, though, have died with COVID, but not because of it. And an additional 15 deaths are still under investigation. That happening while healthcare unions say they are in the dark on the vaccine rollout, feel disrespected by the government. The Consultant Physician Staff Association, the Bahamas Nurses Union, and the Bahamas doctors union, all saying they don't know much about what's going on. Although the Prime Minister did say in his address on Sunday that details about how the appointment process for healthcare workers will be published within the next few days. That was, again, Sunday, and the vaccines are expected to arrive today. So I think everybody could just I don't want to be flippant or anything, but just calm down. Right? Okay, calm down. We'll get the information. We'll get the information. Right? No, anyway. Okay. The big story, though, everyone's talking about this, that voice note that leaked on Monday. Just unbelievable stuff going on there. And as a result of this now, a senior police officer has been placed on administrative leave pending an investigation. It sounded like a senior police officer who called his name and his rank and everything was assaulting somebody who had been taken into custody. And it just very bizarre. The man was just asking a question, and of course, all heck breaks loose for some reason. For more on this, we've got two stories. We've got the National Security Minister talking about it and then the Commissioner of Police talking about it. Take a listen to this report from our Jasmine Brown on what the National Security Minister had to say.
Of course there is.
The National Security Minister was quick to insist that a full-scale investigation has been launched into the disturbing 4-minute and 39-second voice note. He told reporters outside Cabinet that when he learned of it, he called for the matter to be looked into immediately.
During my conversations with the Commissioner today, that matter is in hand and will be addressed as soon as possible to determine exactly what it all means. As I said, I'm not going to preempt anything the Commissioner does. That is under his remit. And we had a good conversation today, and I am confident that he will do whatever is necessary as he commences investigations.
The investigation follows the release of this voice note in which a man who identified himself as a senior police officer reportedly assaulted an individual.
He crying now. Tear him up, man.
Put your hands up! Look at me! Look at me! Look at me!
There you go. That's what he did.
Don't mix me up, man. Don't mix me up with nobody else. See this boy shit? Don't mix me up. You hear me? I'm talking to you. Did you hear me? Sit your down.
Throughout the recording, another individual can be heard inquiring about the charges against him. Someone else can be heard bragging about beating drug dealers. As the alleged beating took place, another man, also believed to be an officer, encouraged it. It is unclear from the voice note what prompted the confrontation. Dame says the verdict is still out on the alleged incident in the voice note. The minister sending this warning to law enforcement officers.
No, this is the world that we're living in, and everything is under the microscope. And so it's incumbent upon public officers to conduct themselves accordingly as they're hired by the people.
Reporting for Guardian News Network, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Okay. Chester Robards, welcome. Good morning. Great to have you with us. Let's get your mic up there. All right. So do you want to listen to the other report before we analyze what Marvin Davis just said? Yeah, let's do that. And then we'll talk about everything in totality. So, as we said, the Commissioner of Police also talked about this yesterday. For more on what he had to say, take a listen to this report from our Kyle Joaquin.
I have taken course of action. The officer involved, the complaint unit, is conducting the investigations into that matter, and the officer has been placed on administrative leave.
Police Commissioner Paul Roll says due process will be followed with the investigation into the voice note, in which a man claiming to be a senior police officer reportedly hits another man. In the voice note, another officer can be heard bragging and laughing about the alleged abuse. But Roll says for him, this is no laughing matter.
I don't support that type of behavior by no officer on the Royal Bahamas Police Force. I think it is fair to say that I have been doing a whole lot to improve the image of this organization. I'm going to continue to do that.
The recording once again bringing to light the issue of police brutality. For years, men accused of certain crimes have complained about being beaten while questioned. Roll says it's something he doesn't tolerate.
There are certain provisions in the Constitution which guarantees certain things when individuals are arrested. We have posted them in all of the stations, and I say on a regular basis to officers, you must have respect for individual human rights, and persons who are in our custody, they are our responsibility. And it's our responsibility to ensure that they are taken care of. You deviate from that, you're not going to have my support.
Then there's the concern over police-involved shootings and claims of excessive force. Anglican MP Gladys Hannah Martin has already called for more body and dash cam footage to be released in these instances.
All of the matters that involve police shootings go before a coroner's court, and persons who are involved have an opportunity to come and testify.
Meanwhile, Roll didn't go into much detail about the voice recording, but said each officer is his own man and must take account for himself.
Each officer will be judged according to their own conduct. That matter is, as I said, under investigation. I don't want to preempt that. I don't know what's the outcome of the investigation, but it is being investigated.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Okay. Let's talk about it. A lot to get into there. Let's not play games this morning, right? Because we know what happens here all the time.
Yeah.
Right? We know that this is a thing. This is the modus operandi of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. And maybe not everybody, but this is, many people can tell you they've experienced this. Many people can tell you they've seen it. Many people can tell you that they were there and did it, right? And and the public has for decades had this attitude, as long as it's not your son or anyone you know, I hope they beat him, right?
Yeah.
So we have to be careful because now there are recording devices everywhere. Everybody has something to record, and this is why attitudes need to change.
But the incident, remember there was an incident on Bay Street that was recorded. A bunch of guys lined up.
Yes, after John Canoe.
He said something after that that wasn't quite in line with this. He was just like, if you discipline your children, we don't have to, or something like that. It was something along that line.
People were saying things like that, and then people were justifying it, saying that some people would prefer to deal with it like that.
Didn't the commissioner
speak
about it?
I don't remember who it was, but I do remember somebody said something. Yeah. I don't even know if it was this commissioner.
Oh, okay.
But there were lots of excuses for that type of behavior.
Right.
People saying that was the best way to deal with it, as opposed to taking them in. That was a long weekend. They're going to be... I don't understand what's happening here. We had similar responses to the video of the children getting being beaten at the emergency hospital there, where people will say, "Man, you got to feel if you don't hear." I haven't heard anybody say that yet here, but we believe this is something that happens frequently, and many people can tell you they have witnessed it or experienced it.
Yeah.
So when are we going to get it? And we see how, especially when it comes to confessions, how this comes up often, that these confessions were made under duress because of a beating, because of the intimidation at the station. This is not helping anybody at all.
Whatever your rights are as well when you're in custody by the police, they would almost seem like they were trying to stymie certain things. When you leave, even not the guy who was being beaten in the background, but the guy who was asking questions. It was almost like, shut up, you don't have no rights in here.
Right.
I'm the top boss.
Exactly.
Like if you about to get put in a cell, don't even ask no questions.
Exactly.
But that's your right. You need to know why you're being arrested, why you're being imprisoned,
Yeah.
And they're like, no, shut up.
I've been told that before. You don't have the right to ask me anything.
Yeah.
I'm the officer here. I'm like, oh. Yeah. Okay. Again, we don't believe this is across the board, but it is far, far too much of the board.
It happens. Yeah, it happens all too frequently.
Yeah.
It happened to me, and so I have to say that it happens too frequently.
Yeah. Let's get your views on this, what's happening here, and what needs to happen. 323-6232, 325-4316. Is that who I think it is? Really? 325-4259. I don't know if we can deal with that right now. mean, I know what he wants. He wants the national security minister to be executed. So let's
and Dr. Miss.
You'll find a way to work Peter Turnquest in.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so not today, Dave. Really, we know how you feel. Yes, they're horrible. They are horrible. Thank you very much. Okay, let's try it tomorrow. Others, 323-6232, 325. I can't. We already know how you feel. 325-4259. They're the worst. They are. Okay, thank you. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Let's get to some of your text messages. Okay. When Marvin Dame suspends all officers involved in the systemic slapping, kicking, beating, and torture of black young men, and he and the commissioner hand in their resignations for silently supporting this behavior that everybody knows went on last night and every night for the last 50 years, then and only then will we know that this government is serious about stopping police brutality. When your reporter speaks to Mr. Dames, please ask him, where is Marvin Pratt?
Who?
Oh, boy. Okay.
Was that the guy?
And they go on to say, the rise in hospitalizations and deaths tells us something different is going on. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, this is about COVID now? Okay. All right. We'll come back to that, I think. Yes. Another one here. No one knows what was actually happening due to a lack of video evidence. The prisoner could have been resisting arrest, so let's not jump to conclusions. Okay. Did you listen to the video? He asked a simple question.
Mm-hmm.
He asked a question. As he is, like, throwing stuff at people while asking the question very calmly, then I don't know how it escalated from that to that. And you're right, we don't have the video, but you know. Stop it now. Stop. You know. The police commissioner said the officer was placed on administrative leave, meaning only that officer. What happened to the officers who stood by and allowed that to happen? The entire crew there should have been placed on leave pending that investigation. That makes no sense. Yeah, that is quite curious. The hyenas in the background really should also be placed on leave.
He didn't say what station it was, did he?
The officer said which station he's in charge of.
Oh, okay.
I think he said that. I think he did.
Said all that.
He said his rank.
Yeah.
It was like everything. National security number is the only thing he didn't give. I don't understand what that is.
Right.
Okay. I think there should be an independent investigation. Police should not investigate a police matter whenever a police officer is involved. People have been saying that for years. That's how it should be. The incident is under investigation. Do we really think anything is going to come out of this while investigating a senior police officer? On a regular basis, Dwight, do you see how many people are hauled before the courts limping? I do. They'll say it's because of the leg braces. They may say that. That's why they can't walk properly like that. But a number of people claim they were beaten before the court.
And then maybe as a result of resisting arrest.
Yes. All right, I'm afraid. Let's go to the phone lines. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight.
Good morning.
Morning. How are you?
Doing well.
But I didn't not gonna say too much on this, right? But what I heard on that video, that's something that we all know has been happening for decades now, right? And what I think needs to happen is that they probably just need to alter their if they feel like these guys, no doubt they were just rude, maybe cussing and being disrespectful and so forth, so they feel like they could take on that parent, and sort of slap them up and beat them up or whatever, right? But what needs to happen, and what I think is going to happen now is maybe when these guys come into the station, they're probably going to check to see if they have any maybe recording device. But I think what you see happen that day, I don't think that's going to stop. I really don't think so, I think they're going to continue. They're just probably going to be more careful as to, but that won't just stop right now. But that needs to stop, even if they probably need to take up more training, because if they don't have that, they shouldn't take that matter into their hand. Just leave that up to the court and let the court, deal with that, because there ain't no penalty for being rude and no manners. You don't take on the father or the mother role and start licking and beating. Another guy who was ran that one up, I think he need to be, he's just as guilty. So they shouldn't leave him out. There should be some penalty for him, too. That's just my take.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I don't even know if it's training. It's a culture that's been pervasive for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah. And again, the hypocrisy here, because that is one of the first things that the public cries for, right? We don't know what's going to happen to you in the court system, but I hope the police beat you up in there, right? And it is amazing to me how outraged Bahamians get with what happens in the U.S. But
It's true.
They're very quiet.
It's so strange
about it here.
Yeah.
Very quiet. Like, oh, well, you know, these guys.
It's a different story, they say. It's based on race in the U.S.
Okay. Oh, as if it's not based on race here.
Here it's more based
Really?
on
Would they
class.
do that to a Caucasian person
Station
who was
in
arrested? Would they do that? Even no matter how belligerent that person is, would they do that?
Maybe with certain people. I can think of at least one.
Yeah? Okay. Well, one would be right. One. Okay. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
I just heard the caller before me say that he doesn't think that things will change, and I don't either. Not until they start putting cameras in the station. And pretty much what Marvin James said is that he warned officers to be careful what you're doing because it could be recorded.
Right.
Many
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah. There are many things going on here. I heard 3 to 4 officers watch that and pretty much egg him on. All of those officers need to be charged because that is a criminal act. They are in breach of their job and of the law. And for them to say they're looking into it, that is insulting to the general public because there's nothing to look into. They need to fast track this matter like they do for politicians or any of those high-ranking people in our society where they get them to court earlier. They need this to get to court earlier. And everyone that was there needs to be charged because that is a blatant disrespect to the general public if they do not.
Okay.
It's obvious what's happening. The video is very clear.
Well, audio. We don't have the video.
The audio, is very clear. They called each other's name, and they were laughing. They don't care. So if they don't care, we don't need to care about them.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Interesting perspective. Thank you. Let's take another call, and then we'll get back to your messages. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Mr. Strachan, how are you, sir?
Doing well. Good morning.
Good morning to your guest.
Good morning.
As a nation, we sound surprised, Mr. Strachan. I mean, I just don't understand sometimes how hypocritical we become. Mr. Strachan, I will not stop. We are a product of our family. And until we address the family issue, the family structure, all of these young men, all of this behavior come from the home. And I will not stop my message. The family structure needs to be addressed. And it's eroded. And this is why we have this behavior in our nation and throughout the world. The structure is eroded, Mr. Strachan.
This is why we have which behavior now? Police officers abusing people?
No, this social disorder. In schools, all around, you can see it. I'm being called now, old man, you can't drive, get off the road, by younger persons than myself. And if my children are doing it, that is wrong. Nobody want to wait at the stop sign anymore. Schools around my petty store where I work, the behavior is just deplorable. This is from the home, Mr. Strachan. And I am old enough to believe that you come from a structured home to see how behavior should be done. I am convinced with that, Mr. Strachan. And you know it starts from the home. And this country, until we decide with our hypocritical self to look at what's happening, we can have programs on everything. And some of our pastors, we can have program on everything. Why is it that there is no program on the family structure? Why is that not being addressed? The other day we had Women's Day, Where is the man's day? This is what we need. Mentorship.
Okay, you could start it. It's nothing stopping you from starting it.
I've been starting. I'm doing it right now on the radio.
Okay.
I'm doing it right now, and I appreciate you. I will not digress from my message, and we can play the ostrich as much as we want. The family structure is eroded.
Okay.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I
well,
have no
no
doubt
doubt
about
there.
that,
Yeah.
but I don't know how that relates to the police doing what they're doing. But okay.
Maybe their structure was eroded too.
Yes, well, if they're the product of that, then yeah. Yes, and there is an International Men's Day. There is. We talk about it every year on the show too.
Yeah. Our good man Terrence Bethel was always a proponent.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. This text here. Dwight, I have 2 teenage boys, and I am seriously concerned about them being falsely charged by police and targeted by police. If there was no recording, this would have been another case pushed under the rug. Thank God for cameras. This must not be ignored. Well, thank God for apparently it was his watch.
Oh, he's recording with his watch.
Because they took the phone.
Yeah,
you know that. But so
typically they take everything. Shoelaces, everything.
Yeah, smart pants next. Okay. What happened? Where did the text go? It just disappeared. Did you not hear the young man who was recording shout to his friend to take it easy? It is obvious he was being unruly. I don't think he was shouting at his friend. Well, there's a lot of assumptions we can make there.
Yeah.
Right? But he was only asking a question. And he might have been talking to the officer. So I don't know where you...
But
okay.
see, the thing is, it don't take much for some of these police officers to flare up. You, like I said, you can't even ask a question.
Right.
Who you think you're talking to?
No matter how calmly you ask that, they're going to get it.
I ask the questions around it. And don't let you sound like you know stuff.
I think that's one of the first lines they learn.
Yeah.
Don't ask me any questions. I'm the police officer.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm just asking why you pulled me over. That's all. But, This text here, if only we could have similar evidence as relates to the alleged corruption charges against MPs. We know that it takes place, but they get away with it even after being charged. Okay. This one says, like with the Children's Home saga, the commissioner is reacting to the recording that went viral. While I commend him for taking a stand, his response must go further. What is missing in response to this type of behavior is training and retraining. What are his plans and that of social services to implement ongoing training and retraining programs for police professions and social care work? These actions are cultural, and training is needed to transform the minds and thinking of these workers in order to change these cultural behaviors. Totally agree. Another one here, if we could pay for drones, just outfit each officer with cameras.
Are they supposed to have?
Apparently it's not a very large number at this point.
I mean, I guess there would only be officers on the street too.
Right.
Turn them off when they get in the station.
This is a good one here, but similar. Why not put cameras in the interrogation room? Yeah, they should be. They should be there. They absolutely should be there. We'll get to those calls in just a second. This one says, I'm not sure if the officers realize that these are family members of potential jurors to sit to determine whether an accused person is guilty. When the accused person says they were beaten, it affects the cases and prevents true justice from prevailing because the jurors would have had the negative experience with the officers.
You're asking them to think too much about this behavior. That's a little out there.
All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, let's take the call. Good morning, caller. You are on the air. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
How are you?
Doing well. We can barely hear you.
Yeah, I believe that half of the police force is corrupt, just like half of our politicians are corrupt, and the rest they stand by and say nothing. You see, and we out here in the public, we are afraid to speak the truth to power. You see, everybody in the system, they know it. From they enter the system, from they go in and out of the cell, they could see the corruption. They could see the corrupt dealing throughout the police force. They could see the police assisting the convicts of trafficking into the prison, things like that. It's out there. See, the police is the overseer the police is the system. Do you see the rich getting being known by the police in a manner that the poor is? You see, it's a system. They oversee us like the slave overseer. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Stephen.
It's Chester.
Yeah, it's Chester. All right, yeah, good morning, Chester. I called Aaron yesterday, and so I just wanted you to know, I was actually a part of these brutalization over the years, but the thing is, we're going to keep wallowing Chris Culmer died in the Central Police Station, right? And the St. Pete officers was the last to visit him. When you, I don't know if anyone's ever incarcerated at Central Police Station. When you walk in the bathroom, your biological responses wouldn't even use the bathroom. It's like I couldn't even believe it. It's like they painted. I remember like it being defecation all over. I don't know what was going on in that place, but to tell you the truth, Dwight, when you look at it, I would like to see a law enacted, right? That when the police brutalize you while handcuffed, that should be an assault, and it should. When you go to complaint unit, a lawyer should be able to take up these cases because, like I said over and over on the areas, the complaint unit is consistent with inconsistency and oblivious. It's sending your case into oblivion. You say, well, what's going to happen? Nothing is going to happen because it's just over and over and over and over. You had a 15-year-old guy in the cell, right? So when you're assaulting people with handcuffs and you don't have cameras, this is a blatant violation. Like, we just sitting and talking, but this is a serious situation. People, there's no way we're going to make it like this. We have the hatred for one another. Like Stephen said, but nobody likes a smart A. But Dwight.
Yes, right here.
You know it's a smart device. I got a good joke when you say smart punch, but then they have smart pills. They have smart everything now, which is able to send and receive and send a signal. And this is where the world is headed now. So this is a scary place.
Yeah.
So maybe we really need to monitor them, and the whole complaint unit system needs to be revamped. Because when you go there, nothing happens. They just take a statement from you, and they hope that you don't get a lawyer, and then it goes on. I have been almost knocked unconscious and brutalized, almost choked to death just for trying to weed, and they turned on and let me go in the middle of the night and didn't even give me a ride home. All right, this is the hatred that they have. I've been threatened in stations. And just the other day in my shop, you have to understand, the guy slammed my door because I didn't know where someone whereabouts was. The person is wearing a tracker. This is the type of hatred and contempt they have for people. How do we arrive at this? No respect. Nobody likes you. I agree with Stephen totally. It's just like I don't know what kind of food these people eating. I don't know where the hatred come from. And we need better responses from the hierarchy now. Now, to me, all of the officers should have been charged because if you saying you're a decent officer, you shouldn't sit back and allow this to happen. A person is handcuffed. You saying you're a part of it, but you allowed it to happen. When you ride in the car with someone, they lock up 10 niggas in one car with one gun. Why it can't be the same with them? The reciprocity stinks. Have a good day.
Okay. All right. All right, let's read some more messages before we take a break. Text him.
I got a message.
You got one? Okay.
Someone says, why should the RBPF be any different than the rest of Bahamian society? We believe beating is the only form of discipline. Women and children are beaten daily. Parents beat children. Schools beat children. Some churches encourage men to beat women and children. Again, I ask, why should the RBPF be any different?
Wow. Deep.
And that's what he's saying. That's what everybody's saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's a culture.
My goodness. Wow. Okay, another text. The police force has a culture of brutality. The real question is how many people are in jail wrongly as a result of police beating suspects. This is where the real injustice is. And while the commissioner may not condone it, he is complicit in it because he is aware of it and his own. Getting into business here. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
The last caller made an interesting point, though, about how much disdain they must have for people that they put in cells, right? People that haven't been found guilty of anything yet,
right?
Because he mentioned Central Police Station is a DUMP of a place in the back there,
right?
It is inhumane to put anybody in there for any amount of time.
I don't think it's just there, from what I've heard.
Of course, I'm sure it's not.
But that might be the worst one, yeah. I've heard stories like this all over. All over.
I don't think anybody should be held in a place like that if they're being investigated. If they haven't been charged yet with anything.
Right.
I mean, it's deplorable.
Even if you have.
That too.
Wow. This person's saying they would not beat a white person like that. Trusted. This is all self-hate. Okay. Do you know how many other men are also raped and molested, even raped by officers at the prisons? What now? Okay. There shouldn't even be an investigation. They should just fire them. There are too many rogue officers. This text here. If a regular citizen incites an offense, we get sent to prison. That's a real reality. All involved in any way should be disciplined. Even if an officer did nothing at all and just stood and watched it, it is a crime. This person here sounds like the Minister of National Security is telling the officers to beat people in secret. Remember, this kind of conduct from officers can and may cause retaliation against the police. Well, let's not encourage it at all. Another one says, until those police officers who were present are all terminated, there will be no confidence in the police force, as was done with those employees at the, I think I told you, the emergency hospital. Let it be done to those supporting the abuse. This text. Avoid all future accusations and place cameras in holding cells and interrogation rooms. Have them serviced so there's no "it's not working" garbage juice excuses. We condone this behavior when we encourage taking rude children to the station to be threatened and beaten back in the day. You gave them permission then, and you're holding your head now. That happens. Yeah. To be beaten or to be talked to sternly by the officer. To beaten too? Yeah. Oh boy. Wow. Okay. This person says, I am 63. Me and a few friends, all over 60, were on a park chatting. A COVID car with a police officer came and asked us to leave the park. I told him I know my rights. Why is he asking us to leave? He in turn told me he will lock me up. Wow, there aren't too many intelligent officers on the force. I'm just waiting on, we already talked about that one, okay. I had a police car reverse from a yard into my truck. When I got out, I looked into their back seat and saw a few empty beer bottles and a few full ones. Too much drinking on their jobs. Okay, well.
Whoa, okay.
You could say anything, but maybe you did. Maybe you did. But okay. We had a marriage in the Central Police Station. They cater to rich prisoners. You remember that one? That was quite interesting.
That was interesting.
That was quite something. That was... Boy, if Central's walls could talk.
Right? Jeez.
Man. Okay, remember the young woman who was punched in her eye in Exuma by a senior police officer? He was placed on administrative leave, and when things cooled down, he was reinstated back on the force. Okay, people calling names of people who assaulted them allegedly. Okay, we're not going to read that one. Magistrates and judges do nothing. They condone police brutality, sending innocent people to prison. Another one asking about the training. How are police trained? Yeah, we've got some tweets as well. Let's read some of those before we take that final call there before our break. Usually when a complaint is made in court, the magistrate makes note of it. End of story. A former commissioner defended the police by saying criminals are experts at claiming brutality. But dash cams, body cams, cameras, and stations would be an effective tool. This incident has produced incontrovertible evidence of a culture of violence against suspects in a minor matter and has opened the door for a thorough investigation and change of attitudes. But will that happen? Will that happen?
How many times have we been here?
How many times have we been here? How many times? I go on to say the minister and commissioner must satisfy the public that this issue is being addressed thoroughly. Attorneys must be more aggressive, pressing these matters, engaging the bar, calling for reform in how suspects are treated. These issues are cultural, endemic, entrenched in the force. They undermine good public relations. I have the ears of many young people, and they will not cooperate with police after observing or experiencing brutality. That is very scary.
Tell them this is a very important election season topic, okay?
Yeah, that would...
Very, very important.
Yeah, very much so. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight and Chess. How y'all doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
You know, Dwight, I had a personal experience with that officer, you know. Had a personal. Imagine you go into the station to file a complaint, and the minute you get in, you're placed under arrest before you even give a statement, because the person you were going to file a complaint against got to the station before you. Is that how it works in the Bahamas?
Wow.
You know, you walk in and you're immediately arrested. That same officer talked to me so bad. I mean, imagine, I think he even felt it because he had to apologize to me the way he spoke to me, you know. But my only point is we have a brutal society, and these heinous acts, they've been going on for too long, you know. But I wanted to, and I'm still planning on filing a case, but because of the COVID and all of the other stuff that, you know, it delayed me. And now look at this, you know. But nothing is going to happen. Let's be real. Nothing is going to happen, you know, because I remember we've seen it happen where officers were accused of brutalizing big grown men, you know. You know, just no children here, you know. We're talking men, you know, they brutalize you. And when you look in the papers, they're being promoted while the so-called investigations are going on. We've seen it happen in the Shane Gibson case with the officer who may have erred. She was promoted. I mean, this type of behavior has to stop, and I believe that the only place we shouldn't place cameras in these stations are the bathrooms. You know, but cameras, and then the degrading thing about this thing is this. You're arrested. You're brutalized in the station. You're let go. Nothing happens. And what type of, then you hear them talk about neighborhood policing and trying to forge a closer relationship with the community and police. But then you still have these things in the back of your mind. You know, how do you build a community like this? When you see these things happening on a consistent basis. But that officer, and as I listen to the voice note being played, the way he talked to me is still ringing in my ear. It's like that's the episode that really happened in that station. But I don't know. But I'm gonna go to Commissioner Paul Roll. I'm gonna try to see how best, you know, because you know I could bring resort to this, because the person that I wanted to file a complaint against is still out there.
Yeah. Wow.
And my side of the equation was never heard. It's so sad in this country, you know. But
wow,
it's just sickening. It's just sickening. But I still believe, and you could ask the police, if you come into a station to file a complaint, how is it that you're immediately arrested, and your side of the story is never heard?
That's some rough stuff.
It's just unbelievable.
Yep. And it goes back to training.
No, it doesn't go back to training.
No,
Right? Stop saying training. It isn't training. It's integrity. It's having integrity and doing something when these things happen. If you know, for example, you see what happened with that instance with just one officer. That entire shift should have been placed on leave. Everybody who worked that shift should have been placed on leave. You just can't have one person being charged and the hyenas in the background is still reporting to work. It's unbelievable. But that entire shift should have been placed on administrative leave until a clear and thorough investigation has been completed.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Well, boy, as we go to the break, someone says here, I am so annoyed by people saying training needs to take place. You can't train people to have common sense and a moral compass. These situations have nothing to do with training. What we need is accountability and responsibility for actions each and every time. It is also clear that they aren't trying to build a positive relationship when they don't seem to seem too clear about what the general public has to say. Okay. A lot more messages coming in. We're going to get to those. More of your stories after the break. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Right on. Right on. Everybody thinks we're at home. just simply cause our hair is long. Oh, you know we've got to find a way. Bring some understanding here today. Pick it loud and pick it sound. Don't punish me with brutality.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is AP News. I'm Rita Foley. You may see more COVID relief money from the government within days. The House is expected to give final congressional approval to President Biden's COVID relief bill today. So, what does that mean for you?
President Biden estimates some 85% of Americans will be eligible for up to $1,400 in payments and should start getting the money this month. White House spokeswoman Jen Psaki says,
for tax returns with direct deposit or bank account information, the IRS will be able to send money electronically. And for those households for which Treasury cannot determine a bank account, paper checks or debit cards will be sent.
Sagar Magani, Washington.
Prosecutors are still trying to file another charge against former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin in the death of George Floyd. But jury selection is proceeding for now in his murder and manslaughter trial. AP correspondent Ed Donahue says they seated 3 jurors yesterday.
The first potential juror was dismissed. Defense attorney Eric Nelson noted what she wrote about the question, why do you feel you want to be a juror in this case?
And you wrote, because I would like to give my opinion of the unjust death of George Floyd.
Judge Peter Cahill says just about everyone has seen or heard something about George Floyd's death.
The question becomes, can you put all that aside? Because as a juror, you have to decide the case just on the evidence you hear in the courtroom.
I'm Ed Donahue.
Residents of the town of Halewa, north of Honolulu, have been ordered to evacuate because of massive flooding after a heavy rainstorm. Torrential rains have inundated parts of Hawaii for several days. Arkansas's new abortion law takes effect later this year. It bans nearly all abortions in the state. The new law will only allow abortions to save the life of the mother. There are no exceptions for rape or incest. Opponents plan to challenge it. This is AP News. More fallout from Oprah's interview with Britain's Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The AP's Charles de Ledesma has this from overseas.
In countries with historic ties to Britain, allegations by the couple that an unnamed member of the royal family had concerns over the colour of their unborn baby's skin raise a thorny question. Do these nations really want to be so closely connected to Britain and its royal family anymore? It was expected the interview would expose some rifts in the royal family. Now it seems to be risking divisions within the family of the Commonwealth, an association of 54 countries held together by historic ties. For decades, the Queen has been the driving force behind the organisation. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
An Amtrak employee in New Jersey is accused of stealing hundreds of parts from the railroad and selling them online for more than $50,000. He will be in court this afternoon. I'm Rita Foley, AP News.
Time for your Morning Blend Traffic Alert, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. And just a warning for motorists and pedestrians on coastal roads to exercise extreme caution as we're expecting rough surf. Could cause some overtopping waves and sand, wind-blown sand, and that could create some hazardous conditions. And you're being warned if you are on the Glass Window Bridge in Eleuthera or the Fishing Hole Road in Grand Bahama to be extra cautious today. In New Providence, in real-time traffic, we are seeing heavy traffic on Sir Miles Butler Highway from well south of Fire Trail Road, the northbound lanes heading towards Tawny Williams Darling Highway. It's backed up eastbound on Fire Trail as well, heading towards that roundabout. Gladstone Road also busy, northbound heading towards JFK Drive. And we're seeing the traffic building on Blue Hill Road northbound from north of Soldier Road to the Independence Drive roundabout. Carmichael Road getting busy at this hour as well, eastbound towards Blue Hill Road. And from Blue Hill Road and St. Vincent, the junction there, you're going to be seeing some built-in traffic, and even further down Blue Hill and Zion Boulevard. So that's looking pretty busy if you're coming out of the south so far this morning. Elsewhere, we are seeing pockets of building traffic along Bernard Road, westbound mainly, a couple schools in that area, and Prince Charles Drive at the major intersections like Fox Hill and Beatrice Avenue, and Prince Charles Soldier Road, and Robinson Old Trail and Robinson at the East-West Highway Marathon Road intersection. So keep that in mind for your commute this morning. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend Traffic Alert brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. And we've got another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Rev. We've got a strong high-pressure system centered east of the off the coast of the Carolinas that's going to support fresh to strong winds over the islands through tonight. Again, small craft operators and beachgoers being urged to remain in port and out of the water due to dangerous marine conditions due to high seas, gusty winds, very rough surf, and life-threatening rip currents. And motorists and pedestrians, again, advised to be extra cautious along coastal roads, especially north and east coast roads. For today, for all areas, we're expecting mostly cloudy and windy conditions, a bit warmer than yesterday, with a few passing showers in the northwest and central Bahamas, isolated showers and the slight chance of a thunderstorm in the southeast Bahamas. 70 degrees right now in Nassau, partly cloudy skies. Look for highs getting up to 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 66 Fahrenheit, 19 Celsius. In your extended outlook, high pressure will continue to maintain breezy to windy conditions over the islands, supporting hazardous marine conditions into the weekend. So for Thursday, partly to mostly sunny, warm, and windy conditions with a few quick passing showers. Friday, mostly sunny, warm, and windy with a few passing showers. And it's not too early to remind you that this weekend, time changes. We return to daylight time, spring forward, Sunday at 2 a.m. That's your Morning Blend Weather Check. Weather Check brought to you by Rev. NBA fans, sign up or upgrade to Rev Trio and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free. Call 601-8992 or email trio@cablebahamas.com to sign up. Rev, you and us together.
Your home is where your heart is, but it's more than just shelter. Your home is your workplace. Your home is school for your kids. Your home is even your happy place where you play. Get the best internet connection wherever you are with blazing fast speeds up to 300 megabits per second for as low as $99.99 and installation within 48 hours. Sign up for any of our fiber packages today and get a chance to win a free tablet in your second month. Call or WhatsApp 577-SHOP or 424-SHOP and sign up today. Conditions apply.
Basketball is back, baby, and so is NBA League Pass, only with Rev Trio. Sign up for Rev Trio today and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free, along with incredible prizes, including a brand new 50-inch smart TV, NBA gear, and more. With tons of prizes and gear, signing up for Trio is the best on- and off-court move this year. Just call 601-8992 or visit www.rev.bs/promotions/trio. Sign up for Rev Trio today and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free.
RBC and Visa bring you a benefit as unique as you to enjoy Disney Plus. Get 2 months of the all-new Disney Plus streaming subscription on us if you have an RBC Visa Platinum card. Learn more by visiting www.rbc.com/Caribbean/Disney. Reimagine new ways to bank better.
Get ready! The real March Madness is here! Up to 100% off store-wide at Alive! That's right! Devices, earbuds, tablets, and so much more with crazy slashed prices! Pay close attention to our social media pages. Visit any Alive location or visit BeAlive.com for the best deals on some of your favorite devices and accessories. That's March Madness going on now at Alive. Believe in best.
Looking for plenty food and you're on a budget?
Wait, I break.
Stop into Wendy's and grab our latest bundle. Introducing the Biggie Bag. With the new Biggie Bag, you get a Dave single, junior fries, regular drink, and 4-piece nuggets for only $7.25, VAT inclusive. Add an apple pie for just $1 more. Now that's a deal. It's the best on these streets. Available at all locations. Restrictions apply. Wendy's, different inside and out.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Always on the go? Missed the show? You can now listen to Guardian Radio talk shows anytime, anywhere on Spotify and YouTube by searching Guardian Radio 96.9 FM or by entering the name of your favorite show. You can also listen by logging on to GuardianTalkRadio.com and clicking on the podcast tab. Guardian Radio, continuing to provide you with fresh news and smart talk anywhere, anytime, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Mother, there's too many of you crying. Brother, there's far too many of you dying. You know we've got to find a way to bring some loving here today. Yeah. Father, we don't need to escalate. You see, war is not the answer for only love.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards on this Wednesday morning here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are getting a reaction to that voice note that has been going around, and the police now saying they are investigating this alleged brutality there, and an officer's a senior officer placed on administrative leave now.
You know, that last call I sympathize with, because I had a similar experience after someone pulled a gun on me. Wow. And I went to the police station and I said, look, you know, I reported this thing, someone pulled a gun on me, and the guy was like, okay, I think I know what you're talking about. And he was like, you sure you want to file a report? And I was like, yeah, the guy pulled a gun on me. And he was like, did you feel threatened? Oh. And I was like, did I not just say, should I not be threatened that someone's taking a gun out? And, you know,
maybe it was a candy gun or something.
It's not supposed to happen, right? Mm-hmm. But then the police officer says, oh, I know what incident you're talking about.
So he knew the person.
He knew the incident, about the incident. And he said, that was a pretty gun, boy.
What?
Because the gun was all tricked out and stuff, right? It was somebody's rifle. And it was all tricked out. And I was like, a pretty, what? And so, you know, forgive me, I don't really, when these things happen, when stories like this come up, it's all too familiar. And like this person said, these things come rushing back to you, right? Like you remember these experiences you had with our police.
So what came out of that? What happened?
Nothing. We ended up in court. They gave me a police prosecutor who called me a day before the case. Uh-huh. Like I was never prepared. They lost my file. We've heard that before.
Of course.
We had video from the mall. It happened at the mall. There was video surveillance footage from the mall in my file. Everything went missing.
So did they start it all over again after that?
No.
Or just
no,
like forget
no,
it?
It was
Misses?
like the other guy's lawyer came with some crazy story about me fabricating the story because I was jealous of some girlfriend thing, and I was like, wow, they're good. This is crazy.
Wow. Okay. All
Hello,
right.
Justice in the Bahamas.
Yeah, well,
how are you?
Is it even a thing?
Yeah.
Okay. That's disturbing. And you
It
still
was.
see these people like around
Yeah,
and stuff? Yeah.
no, I know.
And what are they like? Hey.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, everything cool?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
Of course,
That's what it is.
Of course,
That's
of
what it
course.
is.
That's how we do it. That's
Yep.
how we do it. Wow. Okay. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. This text here, you know you only need height to be a police officer, so is it any wonder we get the results we get? Well, I don't even think they have that requirement anymore. Just attitude, it seems. Not for all, but many, many. And there are some great ones.
Yeah,
really great.
absolutely.
Very mannerly,
Yeah.
very sensible.
Yeah.
But can you do anything on your show about how our training compares to training around the world in terms of police? We're going to get to talk about it.
Yeah.
The people who train here.
Maybe some people
Or
who,
maybe
who went away too.
Maybe the ones who were formerly in the force and now have been freed and see the light. All right.
Yeah, but come on, we see this stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
Come on. This isn't just the Bahamas.
That's true. It's bad all over.
Yeah.
And we know they're under a lot of pressure. They are in danger almost every day,
Yeah.
and we understand what comes along with it. But you do need to have training to know how to cope with the stresses that you feel on the job. All right, you just can't take it out on suspects or
and-
anybody who asks you a question.
But there also needs to be consequences for your actions, or else everybody's just going to continue to do it.
Yes.
You can't get a slap on the wrist. You know, as a kind of public, I don't know, shaming of your behavior. That it can't just be that, because police are going to say to them, what they're saying to themselves and their ranks is, yeah, it's okay, I have to do this, but what you did was, I have to do this because
What they're saying
it's public.
is now I have to check to see if they have smartphones on them too.
That too, yeah. And smart
right?
jeans, like you said.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Then we need to take them in the part of the office where there is no camera.
Right.
We have to do it right. So that's scary.
Yeah.
That's scary. Will the attitudes really change?
Well, there was a statement that I think you said that Dame said at some point, you need to be careful what you're doing because there's recording devices everywhere.
Suggested.
Not don't do it at all.
We're paraphrasing there, but remember that in this era of technology, that this is happening. So yeah,
Seems like the
something
wrong posture to take, but
He was, yeah, okay. Police officers is a text. Police officers need training in the use of force policy. It's obvious that they don't have such training. Sad. Another one. Last year, while I was driving through a roadblock, I was detained and verbally abused by two senior police officers for speaking to them while smoking a cigarette in my car. Huh? I was taken out of my vehicle, searched. My name was searched and ran through the system 3 times, then told to stand and wait until the officer decided to release me. I reported the incident to the complaints unit, who never took a statement, but was told that because of their rank, I should speak to an assistant commissioner. Needless to say, I did, and I was advised and got nowhere since the assistant commissioner's attitude was equal to the 2 I was reporting. They're all just whatever Samuel Jackson's part was in Django Unchained, if you ask me.
Okay.
Oh, my Lord.
That's a bit deep.
Oh, boy.
Again, that the police protection for each other, that's universal, almost. So.
Yep. And in jurisdictions like the U.S. where they have somewhat independent internal affairs investigators, they are, at least according to the movies and television, routinely and soundly disliked by officers as
yeah.
well. But hey, it's better that it's somebody semi-independent.
But you've seen undercover things on U.S. television where people go in to try to complain about an officer's behavior, and the chief of the police station's like, "What do you want to do that for?" Tell me what happened, and I'll deal with it.
Right.
Don't write this form up. It's crazy.
This text here, what's the update from the Commissioner of Police or Minister of National Security about the rollout of body cameras and CCTV? All this lockdown and nothing has been implemented. Fire these people and make those positions electable, not appointed, meaning the PM is also culpable in this police farce. Yeah, that's a good question, especially about CCTV.
Was that a pun? Police farce.
They have it in caps, so maybe it is. Maybe it is. Very clever.
The Royal Bahamas Police Farce.
Oh boy. Yeah, what's happening with CCTV? We were told that was more than a year ago that was going to be more widespread.
20 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Part 3 or 4 or 5 of it. But hearing stories, people having incidents and no camera footage anywhere, and still, like, how could this be there? Why would that be the case? Yeah. So what is going on, right? And what is the rollout with the body cams and the dash cams? What is happening? Why are we not hearing about this? Another call. Let's take that. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, and thank you for taking my call. It's only apparent that when if you ever go to court and you don't have the proper representation and money, don't look for justice. You're just going to get a service. And luckily, if you have some money, you could pay a fine, but you may end up in jail. But this whole thing seems to be selective, because I heard on your station, allegedly, a commissioner of police reporting that he went to Nygaard Key looking for Nygaard, saw the persons putting stuff in a container. Nygaard could have been in the container, mind you. He didn't search. So it's selective, my friend. If that was my yard, the container wasn't leaving the yard. And it's a poor system. It sucks. Thanks, man.
Okay. All right. Yep, I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I think he said it succinctly there at the end. It sucks.
What more can you say? Yeah. What more can you say?
Yeah.
If you'd like to make a call.
We've got another, quite a few text messages to get through. Let's see if we can do this. Police officer once told me everyone's got their police horror stories.
Wow. The police told you that?
My goodness. A police once told me that he would put his gun down and me and him could fight in front of his fellow officers.
Right.
I know the prisoner who was in the room at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's all the text says?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's interesting. I mean, was he way bigger than you, or you think you could have taken him? What was going to happen there, and what was going to happen if you did take him? Do you think you'd still be here to text us today? Is that how you think it would go? I have no doubt that happened. No doubt. It's crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Like wild cowboys, some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Another one here. You know what would make a great Netflix documentary? State-sanctioned racial discrimination and police brutality in the Bahamas. That's a long name for a documentary. They could sprinkle in the statements about full investigations by every police commissioner. And yes, black people can adopt the racist attitudes of massa and abuse other black people who look just like them. Oh, we've known that for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know police officers who quit the force because they couldn't deal with police beating people and did not want to take part in it. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yep.
Another one here. It seems like that was the officer in charge in the middle of the incident. If the other officer didn't chair, he may have been risking his promotion. The fact that it was the officer in charge points to a systemic problem. I doubt that was the first time he took the law into his own hands, and he should be the one setting an example. Okay, maybe that's why the others aren't facing disciplinary issues, or at least that we know of, perhaps. Another one says, there's a lot that goes into firing or dismissing a police officer above the rank of inspector. The issue needs to be looked at closely by the media, and then maybe your investigation can shed light on why not much will become of this latest dilemma.
Investigation. Freedom of Information Acts, as they work in the United States and other places, would allow you to request certain things that could help you to do investigations.
Yeah.
We don't have that here.
This one says here, I don't know. I just can't believe all the people are entirely innocent when we see so much people just dying from unknown stray bullets. And on the other side, the police in the Bahamas thinking they can dish out corporal punishment with impunity. I am at a loss. Also, look back in time. Does it not seem that people are always more concerned with the police being punished for their transgressions, but seem never to show the same outrage for these wayward parents raising these animals who will kill you and me and then go and buy fast food from them? That's what they said. Okay. I mean, I think there is outrage on all parts, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not equal, but it is happening. And yes, people are crying out for the parents to be disciplined and punished as well.
We had a whole,
That happens a lot. So it may not be equal, but it does happen. We know that we have, yes, you're right. There are some really bad apples out there, and we're not talking about the police force, right?
Right.
Many, many, many. And there are bad apples in the police force. There are many bad parents. We've got it bad all around, right? And we have to do something. Right now, it just seems like we're talking. And we get more outraged when there's a new incident. And then tomorrow, some politician will say something, we get distracted by that. And then we don't talk about the other issue again.
Yeah.
And that's everybody, including the media, right? We all get, but you can't talk about it nonstop. But it's time for us to do something. Right, and we all need to be calling for the investigations. We need to know the outcomes.
Right.
We just can't say, "Oh, yeah, they're still investigating that." We need to know what happened, and we will see if that will be the case here. But we won't forget. We'll try not to forget. Hopefully, they won't try to distract us with something completely outrageous after this one. Let's read a few more of these before we go to the break. My wife had just given birth to my son. I picked her up, and we were on our way home when we were stopped at a roadblock. My car was licensed and insured, but I had a small crack in my windshield, and as a result, he wanted to give me a ticket. I disagreed, and the officer perceived it as disrespect and placed me under arrest for use of obscene language and forced my wife to call a family member who was nearby to take her home. Oh, my goodness. Welcome to the world, young baby. Welcome to the Bahamas. We're back after the news. Stay with us.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
You're listening to the Guardian News Network Morning Report. Hello, everyone. I'm Charlene Ferguson. Thanks for tuning in. Topping the news, a police officer is now on administrative leave after a viral video raised concern about police brutality. Kyle Joaquin reports.
I have taken course of action. The officer involved, the complaint unit, is conducting the investigations into that matter, and the officer has been placed on administrative leave.
Police Commissioner Paul Roll says due process will be followed with the investigation into the voice note, in which a man claiming to be a senior police officer reportedly hits another man. In the voice note, another officer can be heard bragging and laughing about the alleged abuse. But Roll says for him, this is no laughing matter.
I don't support that type of behavior by no officer on the Royal Bahamas Police Force. I think it is fair to say that I have been doing a whole lot to improve the image of this organization. I'm going to continue to do that.
The recording once again bringing to light the issue of police brutality. For years, men accused of certain crimes have complained about being beaten while questioned. Roll says it's something he doesn't tolerate.
There are certain provisions in the Constitution which guarantees certain things when individuals are arrested. We have posted them in all of the stations, and I say on a regular basis to officers, you must have respect for individual human rights, and persons who are in our custody, they are our responsibility. And it's our responsibility to ensure that they are taken care of. You deviate from that, you're not going to have my support.
Then there's the concern over police-involved shootings and claims of excessive force. Angleston MP Gladys Hannah Martin has already called for more body and dash cam footage to be released in these instances.
All of the matters that involve police shootings go before a coroner's court, and persons who are involved have an opportunity to come and testify.
Meanwhile, Roll didn't go into much detail about the voice recording, but said each officer is his own man and must take account for himself.
Each officer will be judged according to their own conduct. That matter is, as I said, under investigation. I don't want to preempt that. I don't know what's the outcome of the investigation, but it is being investigated.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Well, National Security Minister Marvin Dames is confident that ongoing investigation will get to the bottom of the matter. He warned police officers not to act improperly against the people they swore an oath to protect and serve. Jasmine Brown has that.
Of course there is.
The National Security Minister was quick to insist that a full-scale investigation has been launched into the disturbing 4-minute and 39-second voice note. He told reporters outside Cabinet that when he learned of it, he called for the matter to be looked into immediately.
During my conversations with the Commissioner today, that matter is in hand and will be addressed as soon as possible to determine exactly what it all means. As I said, I'm not going to preempt anything Commissioner does. That is under his remit. And we had a good conversation today, and I am confident that he will do whatever is necessary as he commences investigations.
The investigation follows the release of this voice note in which a man who identified himself as a senior police officer reportedly assaulted an individual.
He crying now. Tear him up, man.
Put your hands up! Look at me! Look at me!
There you go. That's what you did.
Don't mix me up, man. Don't mix me up with nobody else. See this boy shit? Don't mix me up. You hear me? I'm talking to you. Did you hear me? Sit your off.
Throughout the recording, another individual can be heard inquiring about the charges against him. Someone else can be heard bragging about beating drug dealers. As the alleged beating took place, another man, also believed to be an officer, encouraged it. It is unclear from the voice note what prompted the confrontation. Dames says the verdict is still out on the alleged incident in the voice note. The minister sending this warning to law enforcement officers.
No, this is the world that we're living in, and everything is under the microscope. And so it's incumbent upon public officers to conduct themselves accordingly, as they're hired by the people.
Reporting for Guardian News Network, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, a man was found shot to death in a car in Pinewood Gardens last night. Assistant Superintendent of Police Audley Peters said officers responded to Sugar Apple Street just after 9 p.m. where they found a man with multiple gunshot wounds to his torso sitting in the driver's seat of a white Honda which had stopped in the middle of the street and was also extensively damaged. Police say they were told the victim's vehicle was traveling east along Sugar Apple Street when a small Japanese car crossed in front of it and stopped. A passenger then reportedly got out of the car and fired shots in the direction of the victim, injuring him. That victim was pronounced dead at the scene. Police want anyone with information that could help their investigation to come forward. Well, in defending his party's plan to cut VAT to 10% if elected, PLP leader Philip Davis said it appears State Minister for Finance Kwesi Thompson does not understand the basic economics of consumption tax. Davis pointed out that after the minister's administration hiked VAT by 60%, consumers cut back on their spending, resulting in government's failure to meet a single one of its revenue projections. Davis said if consumption taxes are too high, the economy slows down. He argued that the PLP's planned modest reduction will bring relief to thousands of Bahamians and help inject cash into an economy that desperately needs it. Still, he noted the VAT cut is just one of a wide-ranging innovative set of ideas by his party to rebuild the economy, as they also propose a significant number of revenue enhancement measures. Using Thompson's estimate of a $100 million revenue shortfall per year if the PLP VAT cut is enacted, Davis argued that would equate to just over $8 million per month, which he said the Minister of Finance should be able to find elsewhere to alleviate the tax burden on Bahamians, many of whom are still out of work through no fault of their own. Davis accused Thompson of being unable to recognize a good plan, and he accused the minister's administration of lacking vision and confidence in the Bahamian people. He called for change adding that continuing on the current economic path would be catastrophic for the country. The Defense Force says its search continues for the pilot and passenger missing since their aircraft crashed off Acklins last Friday. Bad weather and high seas continued to be a problem for them yesterday, but we're told they will deploy additional assets from Nassau to aid in the search today. Meantime, the brother of one of those men says it's now a race against time to find both men and bring them home. Jared Higgs has that.
We feel that they're alive. They're just out there.
The family of 45-year-old Stephen Sawyer is holding on to hope that he and the pilot of the plane he was traveling on will be found alive.
The quicker we get to them, the better it is because, all the elements, and then, they get dehydrated and all that stuff, so you need to find them.
The men took off from New Providence at around 7 a.m. on Friday morning. Sawyer's brother, 65-year-old Charles Sawyer, says the pair were en route to Inagua, then on to the Dominican Republic, where Sawyer owns a cigar factory. Flight tracking data shows the plane at 7,600 feet, and as it nears Acklins, a descent is picked up near its last known position. The last communication from the plane's black box was shortly after 9 a.m. Around the same time, Sawyer's girlfriend tried to WhatsApp him, but only got one tick.
We got a time frame. By Friday, we need to get it because that'll be a full week. And, you can go without food and water for a few days. But when the elements and all those things are factored in, come on, man, there's only so much the body can take.
Defense Force officials have searched unsuccessfully since then for the men. Poor weather over the weekend has hindered their efforts. The worried man described his brother as jovial and likable and says there are tough moments.
I'm holding. I got some moments, and because I try to stay busy so that I don't get bogged down because life has to go on no matter what. He's got some traits that, anybody would admire. He's also one of those very likable people. Once you talk to him, it's like you almost have no choice but to like him. Yeah, that kind of way.
The family will travel to Acklins on Wednesday, where they hope that working with locals will give them better luck in finding their loved one. Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I am Jared Higgs.
Stay with us. There's more news after the break.
Don't wait for disaster to strike. This hurricane season, be ready. Protect your home with an affordable and comprehensive home insurance policy from Shield Insurance. You can't control what nature blows your way, but with Shield Insurance, you can rest easy as you ride out the storm. Protect your largest and most valuable investment. Don't take a chance. Put your home in our hands.
Shield Insurance agents and brokers in Nassau. Call 356-7202 or Freeport 352-5945.
Give me my pizza right away. Gotta move quick, no time to wait. No long lines inside the place. Little Caesars, I love the taste. Hot and ready. Just come now, you don't have to call, now you don't have to wait. Hot and ready. Large pepperoni, $7.99 every day. Hot and ready. Oh, yeah. Straight out the oven and freshly made. Hot and ready. Little Caesars is hot and ready. Little Caesars is. Get yours now at Oaksfield, Carmichael Road, and now East Street South, Pineapple Plaza. Pizza.
At Apex Award Signs and Engraving, the name says it all. The country's trusted name for trophies, plaques, corporate seals, rubber stamps, badges, bumper stickers, traffic and street signs, keychains, t-shirts, interior signs, restaurant menus, and so much more. Apex Award Signs and Engraving, number 128 Mount Royal Avenue in Wilton Street. Open 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and 9 to 1 on Saturdays. Visit the website at apexawardsbahamas.com. Apex Award Signs and Engraving, number 1 in the Bahamas.
Let me talk about patio stones. There's patio stones, and then there are the most creative patio stones ever designed in the Bahamas that you'll only find at Pinder Tile on Prince Charles Drive. Interlocking patio stones, they ain't new. It's the creativity that goes into them that makes them different. Pinder Tile's Fish interlocking patio stones are a designer's dream that can be used in a number of settings. The stones are 2 inches thick and come in 3 colors, white, gray, and beige. If you'd like your garden to be different, have a look at the Fish interlocking patio stones at Pinder Tile. And while there, check out the retaining wall bricks that are ideal for gardens. Pinder Tile on Prince Charles Drive.
Packed, stacked, and full of specials that super value in quality supermarkets. Rainbow corned beef, 12-ounce can, $1.99. Best value whole kernel corn, 15-ounce, 85 cents. Mazola oil, 40-ounce bottle, $3.99. Pillsbury flour, 5-pound bag, $2.99. Pork chop ends, $1.99 per pound. Sunday Delight Smooth or Tangy, 64-ounce size, 2 for $5. Open Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. with double stamps on Sunday. Super value and quality supermarkets.
Brother made you jump off the boat onto Porter Ski and make a beeline to Sun Isles. Tell Miss Wallace them, I need a battery for this, a battery for that, and a battery for this. You got them? She say, man, you joking? I'll put a battery in you too. Major say, you mean you can still energize this old bunny? She say, man, we'll give you one good overall service, lubricate your 21 joules, then jumpstart your lithium battery, man, you'll be good as new. Major say, well, I didn't know you could do all of that. She say, well, of course I can, because that's the kind of me I am.
Sun Isles Watch and Clock, number 112 Montrose Avenue. Watch and clock sales and repairs for over 40 years.
Cancer is smart. It pushes us. We push back, challenging conventional thinking, finding smarter solutions. That's what makes Cancer Treatment Centers of America one of the leaders in precision cancer treatment, using tools like advanced genomic testing and immunotherapy to bring more options to our patients. Cancer Treatment Centers of America. We're not just fighting cancer anymore. We're outsmarting it. Visit cancercenter.com/outsmart to learn more.
Welcome back. There have been 2 more deaths due to COVID-19. The Ministry of Health identified the victims yesterday as 2 women from New Providence, a 62-year-old who died on March 7th, and the other a 57-year-old who died on March 8th. The number of COVID-related deaths in this country now stand at 185. An additional 15 deaths remain under investigation. Well, police hit the streets and communities around the country yesterday, part of the Royal Bahamas Police Force's national walkabout during Police Month. Our news caught Police Commissioner Paul Roll walking through Mason's Addition and got some feedback from residents there.
Well, I feel okay, to see him in the community. It's nice to have the police in the community because a lot of things happen in the community, especially after hours, when they shouldn't, especially when people shouldn't be on the street these day and time, So I feel good to see him on the street.
Roll said police are working on building a stronger relationship with the residents they serve and protect.
And I really want the people to appreciate their police and know for sure, because what I'm asking them is, are you seeing the police officers? You heard what they said? Yes. That is a testament that they are complying with the wishes of the commissioner and every day going into these communities and interacting. I want that to continue.
Well, it was the same over in Grand Bahama, where officers shared tips on how to keep homes and businesses safe. That's going to do it for local news. Stay with us. AP News is next.
Tired of disposable plates that fall apart and leave the food in your lap? Neptune Compostables can solve your problem. Put your food in our heavy-duty clamshells.
At Neptune, we supply heavy-duty takeout plates, coffee cups, sauce cups, soup bowls, straws, and plastic-free takeout bags. We offer free delivery to offices, takeaways, restaurants, bars, and households.
And we ship to the Family Islands.
Order now via WhatsApp at 816-2442. That's 816-2442. Or shop online at NeptuneCompostables.com.
Neptune, where your sense makes sense.
At Master Technicians, we have what your family traditions need, starting with industry-best refrigerators, ranges, and ovens. We also carry Whirlpool washer and dryers, dishwashers and freezers, leading KitchenAid countertop appliances, blenders, microwaves, juicers, kettles, and KitchenAid stand mixers. We even do free delivery in New Providence or to the boat of your choice. Whether you're doing the laundry, creating new memories in the kitchen, or spending family time in front of the television, Master Technicians Limited, keeping family traditions alive for more than 50 years.
The trolleys are full of savings at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Rainbow Evaporated Milk, large can, 98 cents. Kellogg's Family Size Assorted Cereals, 19 to 24 ounce size, $4.99. Amerlando Milk, 1 liter, 2 for $3. Rainbow Spaghetti and Meatballs, 14 ounce, $1.25. Chicken Drumsticks, 99 cents per pound. Panamese Raw Shrimp, $31.40, 1 pound bag, $6.99. Open Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. with double stamps on Sundays. Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank, Bank the way you want.
Business travel just got easier with the Alive Corporate Business Plan. Check your messages, check on the staff, or simply keep your emails in check. When traveling on business, you'll have the confidence in managing your office, staying in touch with your team, vendors, and customers. You can roam like you've never left your office with the all-new suite of Alive Liberty Executive Plans. For more information, contact the experts at Cable Bahamas Business Solutions. Call 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands today.
Everything is changing, and your favorite hardware and home improvement store is getting with the program. We Buy You Sell is rolling out its new online shopping feature. If you go to our website, wbusbahamas.com, it's a quick and easy 3-step process. Step 1, browse the gallery and select your item. Step 2, add to cart. And step 3, check out. Go to our website, wbusbahamas.com, to shop with us today.
This traffic report.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. And now at 8:19, it's time for your final look at, your look for weather at this hour. And that's brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Here's what's happening. We've got strong high pressure centered just east off the coast of the Carolinas. That's continuing to push and support fresh to strong winds over the country. And that will continue through tonight. Small craft operators and beachgoers are urged to remain in port and out of the water due to dangerous marine conditions, due to high seas, gusty winds, very rough surf, and life-threatening rip currents. Motorists and pedestrians traveling along coastal roads, especially north and east roads, should exercise extreme caution. For all areas today, forecast calls for mostly cloudy and windy conditions, a bit warm with a few passing showers in the northwest and central Bahamas, isolated showers and the slight chance of isolated thunderstorms in the southeastern islands. Again, small craft operators should remain in port. 71 degrees right now in Nassau. Look for highs getting up to 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 66 Fahrenheit, 19 Celsius. In your extended outlook, high pressure will continue to maintain breezy to windy conditions over the islands, supporting hazardous marine conditions into the weekend. So for Thursday, partly to mostly sunny, warm, and windy with a few quick passing showers. And Friday, mostly sunny, warm, and windy with a few passing showers. That's your Morning Blend weather check. Brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. What's first for you comes first for us. And at 8:21, time for your final look at traffic for this morning. Brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. Just a reminder about coastal roads. If you're on a coastal road, north and east coast roads, you're advised to exercise extreme caution due to hazardous marine conditions. That's for motorists and pedestrians, especially along Glass Window Bridge in Eleuthera and the Fishing Hole Road in Grand Bahama. In your real-time traffic in your Providence, another busy morning on the streets. We're seeing some heavy traffic. So Mile Butler Highway, heavy northbound lanes from well south of Fire Trail Road all the way up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway. Fire Trail backed up with the eastbound lanes heading towards Sir Miles Butler Highway as well this morning. Gladstone Road, not a much better alternate route for you this morning. Northbound lane also very busy. Seeing quite a bit of traffic at the six-legged roundabout as well. That's coming from JFK eastbound and northbound lanes heading towards the roundabout as well this morning. Independence Drive looking like a total mess this morning. That's from the roundabout at East-West Highway all the way to the Independence Blue Hill Road roundabout. So you might want to avoid that area entirely today. And Blue Hill Road is going to be a mess for you as well from St. Vincent Road northbound all the way up to Independence Drive. East Street looking a little bit better for you this morning, but again, you will see the traffic at the roundabout with East-West Highway and Independence Drive. Elsewhere, Eastern Road, heavy traffic westbound, Bernard Road westbound, and Prince Charles Drive, Robinson Road at the major intersections. You'll be seeing the traffic there. Those are your hottest spots, but there are others. Keep that in mind this morning. That's real-time traffic in your morning blend, Traffic Alert.
Hear that? That's the sound of your money working for you. Because at CFAO, we know you work hard for your money, so we make sure your money works hard for you. In 20 years as a leading investment firm, we've helped thousands of Bahamians grow their wealth and build a more stable future. With savings plans, pensions, and wealth services to suit everyone, whoever you are, whatever you do, we have financial solutions that will work hard for you. Visit or call us today to put your money to work. CFAO, seize your future today.
Meet Jackie. Jackie's a hard worker with a steady income, but she has a personal loan and multiple credit cards to pay off. To keep her account current, Jackie opted for a loan from Fidelity Bank to consolidate her debt into one monthly payment and earn interest on a built-in savings account. Be like Jackie. Call 356-7764 to book a complimentary financial coaching session. Fidelity also offers virtual assistance. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Stay a step ahead of technology with certainty and support from Custom Computers. Our know-how team is here to help you zero in on your next big tech purchase, finding solutions that take your productivity to the next level using only the best and most reliable brands. With 4 stores all across Nassau on East Bay, West Bay, Old Fort Bay, and Palmdale, there's no stopping you from stepping up your tech. Reach out to us at 396-1100. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Get ready! The real March Madness is here! Up to 100% off store-wide at Alive! That's right! Devices, earbuds, tablets, and so much more with crazy slashed prices! Pay close attention to our social media pages. Visit any Alive location or visit BeAlive.com for the best deals on some of your favorite devices and accessories. That's March Madness going on now at Alive. Believe in best.
Imagine. That's where every advancement begins, with an idea that things can be different, better. Now, imagine a world where your entertainment experience was all about you, your style, your show, at your budget. At Rev, that's what we've imagined. To join the conversation and learn more about the future of Rev TV, visit us at rev.bs/imagine.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Junk on you.
Yes, if you see me on Bay Street and I carry on bad, don't think I crazy, don't even think I'm mad. Cause if you see what I saw, then you'll do what I do, then you
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards. We are changing gears now, and as promised, we're very pleased to have with us. We have the British High Commissioner, Sarah Dixon, with us this morning. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Blend. Great to have you with us.
Thank
Thank you. It's a real pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
All right, so I know there's a lot of formal terms. What should we be calling you? Her Excellency, or how does it work?
So no, I hate that.
Okay.
My mother called me Sarah, and Sarah is my name. So I'm happy for you to.
So I can call you Sarah?
Yes,
all right,
please.
Well,
and if
I
can call you Dwight.
Of course. And this is,
Absolutely.
That is much better. We appreciate that. Thank you so much.
I have been called Your Majesty before, which is
dear.
completely wrong. Don't go there.
All right, that's good to know. All right, so tell us about the British High Commission. We know that we had we had it for years, and then it went away, moved to another part of the Caribbean, and now it's back here in the Bahamas, an office here in the Bahamas. Explain that to us, why that happened and why we're back now.
So you're right. We closed for about 15 years. Wow. And I think the main reason we closed, it was, not while I was working on this issue, but it was mostly budgetary. They closed lots of embassies and high commissions around the world. There must have been a bit of economic downturn at the time or cuts in funding. And sadly, the Bahamas is one of the places where they closed the High Commission. So for 15 years, there wasn't a High Commission here. Mm-hmm. And Boris Johnson, who's our Prime Minister, attended a Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. And Prime Minister after Prime Minister came up to him saying, why don't you have an office in our country? You say you care about the Commonwealth, but prove it. And he was Foreign Secretary at the time, and he said, I will prove it, and I will reopen High Commissions around the world. So, in fact, there's 12 of us who've reopened High Commissions. I'm the only full High Commissioner here in the Bahamas. There are offices in Antigua and Barbuda, Grenada, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines as well, but they're reporting into Bridgetown. And I've been here, a year and a half. Chester and I met for the opening, which was a year ago. And we reopened, and 2 weeks after we reopened, we closed again because of COVID.
My goodness.
But I can tell already there's a really big need to have us here. We've done so much in the past 18 months. It's, it's been unbelievable, quite frankly.
Okay, let's talk about that. What is the role of the High Commission? And tell us about the work that's been going on since you've been here.
Sure. Well, I arrived 2 weeks before Hurricane Dorian, just to kind of set the scene. And I met the Governor General and I presented my credentials to the Prime Minister. And then the hurricane arrived. And all of a sudden, all the things I thought I'd be doing, like hiring staff and finding an office, I dropped. And instead, we were doing humanitarian relief work principally in Abaco. We did do some work in Grand Bahama. But RFA Mounts Bay, which is the Navy ship that follows the hurricanes, it tucks in behind them, follows them every season, came into the quays in Abaco, cleared the roads, cleared Marsh Harbour Airport, provided water, and other kind of shelter assistance. And all of a sudden, my High Commission of one person turned into 38 staff, military, humanitarian relief workers, charities. And I never expected to have to do that. But I feel like it was such a good thing that I had arrived so I could coordinate that effort. We worked out some hotel rooms and we had to go to shops and buy things like chairs and pens because we didn't have a High Commission, we had no infrastructure. Wow. But hopefully the people of Abaco in particular felt that the Navy were an incredible help to them at that time.
We do remember that. It was quite a big help there. So, again, tell us more about that role. Is that what the primary role is, to assist in times of need like that, or what do you see as the main function?
So I think everyone in the Bahamas would hope not, right? Let's hope that never happens again. Let's hope you don't need us for that. We do patrol the Caribbean in hurricane season, and we would be here to help if needed. But actually, this isn't an aid office. We're not really here to provide aid to the Bahamas, which actually, in terms of its GDP, the economy here may not feel like it in COVID times, so it's quite strong globally. So that's not really the role. At least at first, the role was to find an office, hire some staff, and understand the Bahamas. What matters here? What do you care about? What are you working on? What's interesting? And then try and match that up with what the UK cares about and what we're doing, and finding that space between us and trying to close it. That's really how I'd describe it.
So what have you found out about the interest and the mutual interest between the two countries?
Yeah. So having done the hurricane, Obviously, I did manage to hire some staff. Chester was there at the reopening, and then COVID happened, so we closed again. So there is a little bit of a complicated answer to this because this past year, I feel like we've been doing a lot of help and advice and things that people wouldn't normally need. So telling them what the rules are and how the rules are working, giving them public service type announcements about the situation with COVID in both countries. So letting Bahamians know what's happening in the UK and letting Brits here know what's happening in the Bahamas. And we wouldn't normally want to do that. What we'd normally want to do is what we were talking to Chester about, which is helping businesses work together across the two countries, work out where our economies are complementary and we can, grow that kind of dynamic economic relationship. And then people. So lots of people in the Bahamas either know the UK or they think they know the UK. And students and studying and education is a really big link between our two countries. We do offer scholarships, so kind of working in an education and people space is important to us. And then let's call it political issues. So where on a global stage, the UK and the Bahamas can't do stuff by themselves. And one of the topics for this year that we're focusing on is climate change, protecting the environment, and we're the presidents of a meeting called COP, the Conference of the Parties, which talks about climate issues and tries to work together as a planet to protect the oceans and protect our land. So things like that. I mean, it's quite diverse, wonderful being a diplomat because you get to do something different every day.
Right. Let's talk about climate change and what we're seeing. I mean, Dorian, you mentioned that, of course, people saying that was so severe because of what's happening globally. What do you see as the improvements that need to be made here? And how can the UK help with that?
So rather than telling you what I think the Bahamas should do, because that's always a massive mistake, I can tell you what we're focusing on, the areas we're focusing on. One is we all need to adapt. We need to be resilient to these extremes of climate. In the UK, we have flooding. We've had these incredibly hot summers that we're not really prepared for. We've had really cold winters as well, and the climate does seem to be shifting. So you need to adapt your systems. We saw the big neighbor next door, the US, had that cold front, and a state kind of closed down. So this isn't just a Bahamian problem. This isn't just a UK problem. The whole world has to adapt and be resilient to climate. And here, of course, you mentioned Dorian. I'm sure there's work around storm protection, building codes, that kind of thing that people will look at here. And then green future and protecting our planet through how we act as citizens of the world. So green energy, how we use plastics. When I arrived, the plastic ban first came in. Keeping your ocean clean and beautiful. I mean, oh my God, it's so incredible, the ocean here, the kind of shades of blue. So making sure that stays wonderful. And then what we call nature-based solutions. So making sure that things like the mangroves and the reefs here, or in our case, our coastline and our forests are protected and preserved because they have such a contribution to the climate of the planet. So those kinds of things. A bit financing as well. This is where it gets a bit technical, but how you fund these things and how businesses invest in a sustainable way are really, really important elements.
We did talk a bit about trade as well when we spoke, and improving trade, making the most out of the agreements that are in place already and getting those things going. I guess you haven't been able to take a bit of a bite out of that as yet because of the times.
I'd say it's not very practical yet, but the governments have been doing the framework. So when we saw you, we'd just signed the Economic Partnership Agreement. And then last year, we did manage to work together with the other CARIFORUM countries and the Bahamas and the UK to make sure that had its kind of legal processes. And we're working with the Chamber of Commerce here to now talk to business about what does that mean for them? How does the rubber hit the road? You've got this agreement. What does it mean to me and my business? And the Chamber of Commerce are going to be organising that with our help and the Ministry of Trade to explain that to people.
And we're going to get a lot deeper into business opportunities coming up in a few minutes in Morning Blend Business. You mentioned people going to school in the UK and scholarship opportunities. Let's talk a bit about that and what is available to Bahamian students in the United Kingdom.
Definitely. So as far as I can tell from the year I've been here, you've got both school students. So people here do have a tendency to, if they can, send their older children to boarding school, so like in those senior years, as well as university students. So one thing we've been doing is trying to provide advice to families who are moving their, let's call them children, their younger people to schools. We as the government don't really play much of a role in that other than providing advice on things like visas and routes and, that kind of information. Normally we wouldn't even really do that, but in a COVID time, everything changed, so a bit more was needed. But for university level students, we have a scholarship called the Achieving Scholarship. We've just done the interviews for the next year, so hopefully we'll be sending some good people. And today I'm meeting the people who were there recently, who've come back. So I'm going to talk to them about their experience. And we aim it at postgraduate master's level students. There's quite a lot of undergraduate opportunities for scholarships, but masters can be a bit harder to come by the funding. And we fully fund it. We include money so that you can live, money so you can get there, and then paying the tuition. So it's a really good scholarship. And we advertise it on our Facebook page. If you're thinking about it now, it's August, because we've just done this year's, that you'll be thinking about submitting an application.
Yeah. Are there other opportunities for Bahamians, even postgraduate studies, to work or live in the UK, anything like that?
So the Bahamas is quite fortunate in that most Bahamians wouldn't need a visa for like short-term stays and short-term conferences, or, if you're going with your company, you don't need a visa. It's if you're doing longer term activity that you do. And we're just introducing, we've left the European Union, you may have noticed the Brexit debate.
About that.
We've left the European Union and we're changing some of our immigration rules. So there will be a points-based system, which will be a very open way of being able to work out whether you can get a visa to work in the UK for a longer term project. The Economic Partnership Agreement as well has some concessional visas for service providers. So there's quite a lot of routes for Bahamians to work in the UK. It's not, I wouldn't describe it as difficult. You may have to think about it a bit and fill in the forms correctly, but actually there's quite a lot of opportunities there.
So you need to find the opportunity before you go, or can you go and then explore and see what's available?
That is a good question. I think in most cases, I'm always very nervous about talking about visas because I'm not an expert and I don't want to give anyone the wrong information. And it is all on the website. We've got terrific gov.uk website. But my recollection is that, yes, you would need a job to go to. You can't go there to hunt for a job.
Right. All right. Now, we talk about it often on this show, the Commonwealth and our role in that, and what is the role, what is the purpose of it. What do you see as the role of the Commonwealth of Nations and the benefits to a country like the Bahamas to still be a part of that?
Well, like I said, it was Boris Johnson at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting that meant that I'm here today. Right. This is why the High Commission opened, because the UK was chairing the meeting at the time, and Boris Johnson's now, of course, Prime Minister, he was Foreign Secretary at the time, really believes that we've got quite deep historic ties. And if I look at the Bahamas, there's a lot of similarities between our systems, even after nearly 50 years of independence. Our legal systems are very similar. Quite a lot of our ways of doing things are quite close. And that's true across the Commonwealth. And where else do we all get to be with India, Australia, Canada, Bahamas, South Pacific Islands, all in one place, other than the UN, which is, then all the countries in the world. It's a great way of working together with other countries who have similar backgrounds, similar systems, and in many cases, similar problems. So we mentioned the environment. The Commonwealth does a lot on small island states and linking up small island states on things like mangrove protection. So there's lots of areas where those Commonwealth countries, even though they're diverse, have got lots in common.
Right.
In the midst of now the vaccine distribution across the entire world, you talk about linkages. Has that helped, being part of the Commonwealth?
I don't know if there's been a specifically Commonwealth side to that. The UK definitely believes we're not safe till everyone's safe, and we've given £500 million to the COVAX facility and helped them to access vaccines so that the World Health Organization can then make sure that every country in the world can get access to vaccines. We've also already committed that if we've got any spare vaccines, we're going to give them straight to COVAX, so COVAX can hand them out and make sure that they get to countries that need them, rather than us trying to decide, which might, might be a bit fraught. But we've already said that we would do that. And I do think that the pandemic is a really good example of where working together is important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, a lot more to talk to Sarah about the British High Commissioner. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us. We're going to be back.
RBC and Visa bring you a benefit as unique as you to enjoy Disney Plus. Get 2 months of the all-new Disney Plus streaming subscription on us if you have an RBC Visa Platinum card. Learn more by visiting www.rbc.com/Caribbean/Disney. Reimagine new ways to bank better.
Stay a step ahead of technology with certainty and support from Custom Computers. Our know-how team is here to help you zero in on your next big tech purchase, finding solutions that take your productivity to the next level using only the best and most reliable brands. With 4 stores all across Nassau on East Bay, West Bay, Old Fort Bay, and Palmdale, there's no stopping you from stepping up your tech. Reach out to us at 396-1100. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Get ready! The real March Madness is here! Up to 100% off store-wide at Alive! That's right! Devices, earbuds, tablets, and so much more with crazy slashed prices. Pay close attention to our social media pages. Visit any Alive location or visit bealive.com for the best deals on some of your favorite devices and accessories. That's March Madness going on now at Alive. Believe in best.
Hear that? That's the sound of your money working for you. Because at CFAO, we know you work hard for your money, so we make sure your money works hard for you. In 20 years as a leading investment firm, we've helped thousands of Bahamians grow their wealth and build a more stable future. With savings plans, pensions, and wealth services to suit everyone, whoever you are, whatever you do, we have financial solutions that will work hard for you. Visit or call us today to put your money to work. CFAO, seize your future. Today.
Meet Jackie. Jackie's a hard worker with a steady income, but she has a personal loan and multiple credit cards to pay off. To keep her account current, Jackie opted for a loan from Fidelity Bank to consolidate her debt into one monthly payment and earn interest on a built-in savings account. Be like Jackie. Call 356-7764 to book a complimentary financial coaching session. Fidelity also offers virtual assistance. Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Oh, yeah. All right. My beautiful islands. I tell you, if the good Lord never goes on holiday, tell me why he made the Bahamas. If the good Lord never used to come this way, tell me why he made these islands. All the sun, all the peace, all the skies, all the breeze, all the creeks, all the hills, all the sand, all the trees. Oh, tell me why. Tell me why.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards. We are talking with British High Commissioner Sarah Dixon on the show this morning, talking about the relationship between the Bahamas and the United Kingdom. This has come up. I know your office actually asked me if I was going to ask you about it. I said maybe it will come up, but of course everybody's talking about that interview this weekend. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex, right? And we read an article this morning. We read it about countries in the Commonwealth who are now reevaluating whether they should be a part of this. Would love to get your views on this. Some serious things were said about the royal family, and people wondering, I mean, is this a common way of thinking in the UK? And do we really, how do residents feel about Commonwealth nations, which are largely black or brown people? How should we feel about that? What's your take on that?
It is a really good question. I'm not sure if at least the first part of my answer will be very satisfying to the listeners, because I don't actually represent the royal family here. The Governor General does. So I wouldn't want to kind of say something that then people think it's representing the royal family's views. The Queen did put out a statement yesterday, which I thought was very family orientated, and so I'll let her statement speak for itself, and then the Governor General to fill that in. I think on your kind of wider question about the relationship for Commonwealth countries with the UK, and particularly for the Bahamas as a realm, so you do have the Queen as the head of state. I'll say what I've said a few times before, which is you guys are an independent sovereign nation. So this is absolutely for you to decide what you think is best for your country. The UK plays no role in that decision making. And I'm sure, like you say, there's articles debating what the recent interview will mean for that. But it's definitely not for the British High Commission to kind of say what we think the Bahamas should or shouldn't do in that space as well. Personally, I can see in the UK the debate around the monarchy has always been quite a vibrant one. I mean, if you think of recent history, even in my lifetime, there's been various things that have happened in the royal family that make people ask questions about that family, just like there are probably with all heads of state over the world. I mean, we focus on that one because it's ours, it's our shared head of state. But, I feel like I shouldn't get too much into my personal opinions because people might think I'm representing some kind of government view or royal family view, if that's okay.
No, we understand. We're getting...
Well, it's interesting because the relationships between the countries kind of don't extend that far when you think about it. I mean, it's just a figurative thing. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. Maybe. Okay. Okay, let's move on from that then.
Yeah.
Getting some interesting questions here. I don't know if you can answer this. Does the High Commission have any idea when British Airways flights will resume?
Oh, well, there's the...
it's the $64 million question for those who like a direct flight to the UK. Right. One thing I can say is I regularly talk to the airlines. British Airways is a completely independent commercial company. It's not subsidised by the UK. It's not under the control of the government. It doesn't have a relationship like Bahamas Air has with the government, for instance. I talk to them regularly about their routes, and they make the decision on the basis of the situation in the various parts of the route. So complicated for the Nassau route is London and the UK, which has got huge restrictions at the moment. Cayman, where the border is completely closed because it goes London, Nassau, Cayman, and back again. And then actually the restrictions here are probably of the three places the most stable at the moment, the most constant. But for British Airways to fly that flight, they need to make that judgment around whether it's both logistically and commercially viable for them. They've currently said they won't be flying it until May. And they update it on a rolling monthly basis. They look at the conditions in the countries and then make a decision. So the published date at the moment is a May date for that to resume. But do keep an eye on it. If you are a British Airways passenger, talk to British Airways about your options because they're the ones that will know, what they're able to offer customers.
Wow. You mentioned it earlier. Someone's asking about it. What's the site again to get more information about opportunities in the UK and how that works? folks?
Okay, so this is the wonderful digital world in which we live. There is a UK in the Bahamas Facebook page. There is a gov.uk website. I'm on Twitter, Sarah Dixon UK. But the Facebook page, we keep updated almost every single day and then usually links through to the other ways of getting in touch with us. It's also got our email address, so if you need something specific, it's got that email address there. Of course, because of COVID, we can't do much face-to-face. We were hoping to get out and meet people a bit more, but it's less possible.
Right. Now, you said you don't need a visa for short-term trips,
That's right.
but if you're going to be there longer, what do you need to do? What are the requirements?
Yes, is a good question. I think a lot of people thought that the return of the High Commission would mean that we're issuing visas and passports here. That's not how visas and passports work anymore. Visas, we've currently got a difficulty because of the restrictions in getting the visa staff into the country to take the biometrics. So at the moment, when you go online to apply for your visa, you will have to see which offices are open and allowing face-to-face. It's one of the COVID problems. You have to actually put your hand on a pad and you have to be face-to-face with someone for the longer-term visas. We're recommending Jamaica as an option for some, the US for others. But go look on the site and think of your own circumstances and what suits you for visas. When we're back to normality, I'm hoping we can do it here. I have the kit. The kit arrived in January. I'm hoping we can do it here in an easier way, but just COVID has been making everybody's lives a bit tougher.
It's been terrible.
And passports the same. Online for passports, gov.uk. You pay online, photo online, form online, and they send it via one of the courier companies.
You have some fun things going on, though. Despite COVID,
Yes.
You've got a photo competition, photo contest. Tell us about that. Who can take part in that?
Yes, so we are trying to do the sorts of things you can do without being face-to-face. And one of them is, in fact, in honour of Commonwealth Day, which was on Monday, people aged between 11 and 14 years old and 15 and 18 years old can enter our photo competition. And we've already mentioned climate and environment. Recently, I took a photo in Long Island that made everybody go, whoa, we love Long Island. And that's what we're looking for, is something that shows how the natural world can support the fight against climate change. And there's a bit of advice on the Facebook page of the sorts of things you could look at. It's what they call nature-based solutions to climate change. And we've got some great prizes. You can win a GoPro first prize worth more than $400. My daughter has already seen it and wants it, and I've told her she can't have it. And we've got some vouchers and some snorkeling trips with Brief, the organisation that looks after the reefs. There's a tip for something you could take a photo of. And we'll be judging that competition during the course of March. And we're looking for young people who love the environment here and want to get involved and would like to win a competition.
Nice.
And again, the where to go to sign up for it?
So go to the UK and the Bahamas Facebook page, and all the details are on there with a bit more terms and conditions. You know what it's like. There's a few rules that go with it.
Got a text here. Somebody's asking, can you define short term? Like how long is, up to what point is long as that you need that visa, that you wouldn't need that visa?
6 months.
6 months. Okay.
Yep.
That's pretty good. Now, we were talking about this off air, but I guess we should share that on air. Where you've been so far since you've been here. I know COVID has limited what you can do, but so far, how much of the Bahamas have you been able to see?
So it is definitely one of the sadnesses of COVID for me that I haven't managed to get around this amazing place because I like Nassau. I live in New Providence. Don't get me wrong, but when you go to the Family Islands, there's some real hidden, beautiful areas with particularly at the moment, nobody there. Sadly, I did go to Abaco and Grand Bahama very early on for humanitarian reasons, but I have made it to Eleuthera and recently went to Long Island, which is very beautiful, and Cat Island as well. I've managed to visit.
Oh, you've seen more than most people. You've seen more than most people.
No, but I've got some on the to-do lists. Andros, which looks like more than one trip as well. That's a big old place. I'd really like to go down south and see some flamingos. I think that would be really cool.
That'd be great.
And go back to some places. Exuma, that's also something that would be lovely to see.
Arguably the most beautiful of the islands. People will disagree, but it is up there.
I get the impression that you'll all fight to the death over which the island is the nicest, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but Exuma, it will be on many people's list. People's list.
Yeah.
All right. So, how long do you have here? How long are you going to be here? Do you know?
Yeah, so most diplomatic tours are around 3 or 4 years. Okay. It depends a bit on various circumstances, but around that time. We've been here just over a year and a half now.
Yeah. So we've got you for a little while.
Yes, yeah. In fact, I am now the longest serving ambassador equivalent here. And I'm gathering together my fellow diplomats later this week, virtually, of course, because we can't really meet face to face. But I'm currently the longest serving head of mission here in the Bahamas. Okay. And there's not very many of us. There's only, I think, 6 of us altogether.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Where were you before here?
So immediately before here, I worked for the whiskey industry. I took some time out from the diplomatic service, and I am a bit of a whiskey geek. I worked in Scotland.
There you go. That's interesting.
That's both of us in here.
Yeah. Usually there's some interest in the Scotch whiskey side, but before that, I was the ambassador in Guatemala and in Honduras, and have served 25 years in diplomatic service. But did have a whiskey break for a few years.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah. We've talked about that actually. Because we see that this is a big industry around the world, and we don't have much of that here. I don't know if we have a Bahamian.
No, I don't think
no,
so.
we don't. And the opportunities that present themselves there.
Yes, I mean, there is a distillery here, of course, in the centre of town.
Right.
And the spirits industry is, just a wonderful industry to work for. And Scotland is very famous for its whiskey.
Of course.
But actually, lots of countries around the world make things like rum or gin or vodka or whiskies in America spelt differently. I don't know if you know that.
Yes.
But it's a great industry, and it is something. We were going to talk about trade a bit more later, but it is one of the things that, of course, the Bahamas imports from the UK.
Right.
If you go into any of the stores here, the liquor stores, you'll see Scotch whiskies aplenty, a variety. And one thing about Scotch whiskey I always say is people say, well, I don't know if I like it. And I always say you haven't tried the right one yet, because they're actually quite varied, they're quite different.
What was that one that we had from the island? Do you remember the island? It's an island. You would know this, I'm sure.
Island, probably.
Island.
Right, there you go. That's exactly what it is.
I pronounced it incorrectly. Yeah.
That's right. And we're hearing it's about the size, maybe a little bit bigger than New Providence, but it's their second biggest industry producing whiskey.
Yeah, I think there's about 14 distilleries on Isla.
Yes.
And you can spend a hell of a week on Isla.
Yeah, amazing stuff.
Visiting
and
the distilleries.
You, I've been telling you business, you got a gift of one of theirs.
Yes.
And it was unbelievable. I've never had a whiskey that tasted like that. It was very unique.
Don't ask me to
So
recall
what
the
they
name of
do
it.
is on Isla, they've got peat, that kind of boggy land, and they use it to dry the barley.
Yeah.
And so you get that smoke taste. And there's one brand of whiskey from Isla that describes itself as a cross between an ashtray and motor oil.
That sounds interesting.
But it probably tastes really great.
If you've tried that one and you don't like it, you say, I don't like whiskey, which is,
Right, yeah.
Whereas if you try one of the more heathery, floral whiskies, maybe that's more for your, from the Highlands. It's a different kind of profile.
Well, that one was great.
It was good.
It was really good.
Do you remember?
I'll recall it.
I took a picture.
Maybe we'll talk brands offline. It's probably not right for me to.
I took a picture of it, so during the break I'll go through it. All right.
I did want to ask. I know embassies and consulates deal with a lot of general issues that their citizens have. Is that something you've been seeing? People coming to you for different issues or whatnot?
A little bit. I mean, to be honest, since I've been here, we haven't had many tourists, and it's usually tourists that need the help. Yeah. Residents usually self-sufficient. They know what they're doing. They've lived here for years. Yeah. We do get asked about passports, and as I mentioned online, I couldn't issue a passport if I wanted to. So we haven't had an awful lot of that. One thing we have had to explain a little bit is some of the neighbours, so like Turks and Caicos and Cayman, I also can't explain their citizenship rules to people. But I can tell you where to get those details. We've got the phone number on our Facebook page. We've got the email address and that kind of thing. So we try and signpost people so they can get the information that they want. And the UK government's website is, amazing. It really is. gov.uk has got everything. Really is there. It's one of those things I think we realised some years ago is if you can't do face-to-face, or phone calling with everybody, you've got to make sure they can get the information and now. And one thing we do is just update that all the time. Yeah. So it's there.
It's great stuff.
Not like Bahamas.gov.
Oh, boy. Wow. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Morning Blend Business, we're going to talk about business opportunities. We're going to get deeper into that with Sarah Dixon this morning. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is AP News. I'm Rita Foley. 1 year ago tomorrow, the World Health Organization declared a coronavirus pandemic. More than 2.6 million people have died. Millions of others have gotten sick or lost jobs and income. Now President Biden's COVID relief bill is almost law, expected to get final congressional approval today.
The bill would send direct payments to most Americans, help small businesses and schools, boost vaccination efforts, and do much more to help the nation recover from the pandemic's economic devastation. While top Democrats like Hakeem Jeffries say the package meets the moment,
the American Rescue Plan is transformative.
To number 3 House Republican Liz Cheney,
it's a real tragedy,
saying it's simply too big and untargeted. Sagar Magani, Washington.
Some of the potential jurors they've dismissed in the George Floyd murder trial have said they couldn't be impartial. The court's continuing to choose jury members today in former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin's murder and manslaughter trial. Mike Hempen reports on 2 of the 3 jurors who've been seated so far.
The first man who was selected says he has never watched a video of Floyd's arrest, but has seen a still image of it. The woman who was selected describes herself as a go-with-the-flow person who could talk to anyone about anything. She says initially she had a negative perception of Chauvin, but says she doesn't know him and could be proven wrong.
A 13-year-old girl is under arrest after threatening to shoot up her middle school in Lake Placid, Florida, say authorities. The girl made the threat on an Instagram account, say sheriff's officials, who are trying to figure out why she would want to do this. Russia's slowing down Twitter, saying Twitter has failed to remove banned content. Moscow slowing down the speed of uploading photos and videos. This is AP News. Now to Florida and a flap over immigrants who have a criminal past. AP correspondent Jackie Quinn has this and what it means for those involved.
The state of Florida suing the Biden administration over new directives that block the detentions of some immigrants who've been convicted of crimes. The complaint from Florida's Attorney General Ashley Moody challenges new guidance issued by Immigration and Customs Enforcement last month, which made national security threats and migrants convicted of serious crimes the priority for deportation. Moody says that's resulted in immigration officials declining to take people who serve sentences for burglary, drug trafficking, and other violations, which could mean more crimes in her state and more strain on local law enforcement. Florida's lawsuit follows a similar action filed by Arizona last month, which has been joined by the state of Montana. I'm Jackie Quinn.
And I'm Rita Foley, AP News.
This traffic report brought to you by Shield Insurance.
In a final look at traffic now, it's been and still is a very challenging day for the traffic coming out of those southwest gateways. Those lengthy morning lines are still stuck in there on those routes getting out of there, and it's a much slower process this morning. Elsewhere across the island, we can see lots more delays that have developed or are still attempting to reduce in a reasonable time. You've got the Eastern Road traffic that's still hanging up over there. Interesting, though, it's mostly the traffic that's east of Johnson Road that's still bumping up over there. Burnett Road also has a rough time at it. Really busy both leading into that corridor and leaving. Drivers are in line and riding the brakes over there. The Soldier Road build up towards that Wolf and Village Road intersection is still building at this hour. East Street North Ride from the deep south slows crossing Soldier Road and heading into a busy highway intersection. Independence Drive West has lengthy traffic lines, and on the east side, it also lengthy traffic lines there too. West Bay Street Ride-In is being slowed down with traffic, but it is moving over there, not hanging up really. Police are on the scene of the Fire Trail Road East. They're engaged in criminal investigation, and fortunately, while the area is active, we don't see much effect on traffic flow in that area. Over the past 24 hours, police investigated some 7 crashes on the island, 3 of them with injury. Today, they remind us that they are vigilant on patrol, looking for drivers that are not adhering to traffic rules. Having an emphasis being placed on ensuring that you are wearing a seatbelt, your kids are properly strapped in, and ensuring that you are obeying the traffic lights. This morning, their observance is quite evident, as you can see them around the Marathon Road, Prince Charles Drive traffic light intersection. This National Traffic Report is service of Jess Johnson, the only insurance agent in brokers giving you peace of mind to Bahamas for the last 100 years. You can check out the Jess Johnson Online Service Center app. They're able to view policy details, check outstanding balances, and report a claim and more. With your Radiscan local traffic in real time, I'm VAWN.
Hello, sir. Your credit card bill is due. Hello, sir. It's time for your monthly loan payment. Tired of creditors pounding at your door? Sign up for a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank and consolidate your debt into one low monthly payment. What's more, you'll also earn interest on a built-in savings account. The pandemic has curbed many freedoms, but at Fidelity, our focus is to help regain your financial freedom. Visit a branch or speak to a Fidelity Bank at 356-7764. COVID safety measures in place at all branches. Fidelity Fidelity, we're good for you.
Beulah, gal, can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood.
We now large and in charge, so we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too?
Of course we can.
But we could be in deep trouble if they find out.
We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami.
So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles.
Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal.
So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's your time.
Always on the go? Missed the show? You can now listen to Guardian Radio talk shows anytime, anywhere on Spotify and YouTube by searching Guardian Radio 96.9 FM or by entering the name of your favorite show. You can also listen by logging on to GuardianTalkRadio.com and clicking on the podcast tab. Guardian Radio, continuing to provide you with fresh news and smart talk anywhere, anytime, all day.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Wednesday, March 10th, 2021. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan, joined by Chester Robards, and we're going to continue our conversation with British High Commissioner Sarah Dixon this morning, so stay tuned for that. But right now, it's time for your Morning Business Report brought to you by CFAL. In your morning business report, Royal Caribbean Group has now joined Carnival Cruise Line in announcing that it will not begin sailing in this region before June of this year. Royal Caribbean announced yesterday that it had pushed its conditional date back once again to now begin sailing by June, explaining in a press statement that it is continuing to focus on a healthy and safe return to cruising. By June 2021, parts of the Bahamian economy that rely heavily on the cruise sector will have been greatly disadvantaged for almost a year and a half as a result of the pandemic's effect on the cruise industry. All cruise lines continue to work with the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to get their ships ready to receive passengers once again. The CDC has had a conditional sailing order in place since October. That order lays out a laundry list of action plans that have to be taken by the cruise lines to ready their ships for sailing once again. The PLP's plan to push an increase of the private sector minimum wage would no doubt adversely impact some people, but would benefit the majority of workers, according to businessman and developer Sir Franklin Wilson. In its economic plan released earlier this week, the PLP stated that if it wins the upcoming election, it would recommend to the National Tripartite Council that it move towards a minimum wage of $250 per week in the private sector. The announcement has garnered broad discussion and criticism across the business community, with some fearing that businesses would fail if they are required to pay more than the current $210 per week minimum wage. Sir Franklin, though, saying that in some matters of the economy, the benefit to the majority would outweigh the minority, and it's up for the government to find ways to mitigate the impact on the minority. As the government moves toward the full rollout of the Freedom of Information Act, Executive Director of the Organization for Responsible Governance, ORG, Matt Aubrey, saying that public training and education on how to benefit from the act is necessary. The Office of the Prime Minister yesterday releasing a request for expression of interest for the position of consultant for the Freedom of Information Office. The FOIA was passed by the Christie administration before the 2017 general election. Since then, the law has not been fully enacted, despite promises by the Minnis administration. And the Association of Bahamas Marinas, the ABM, launching an online portal designed to collect and remit fees paid by yacht charters and privately owned boats for cruising throughout the Bahamas. The portal was developed with the knowledge that the government had long dealt with the issue of collecting these fees, which partly comprises of 4% tax on the fees for chartering a private vessel. The ABM noting that its sector generates tens of millions in revenue for the economy, and the CZ Pass, now available on its portal, will allow easier payment of fees and eliminate tedious paper processes. Overseas, U.S. consumer prices increasing 0.4% in February, the biggest increase in 6 months, also led by a sharp jump in gasoline prices. The Labor Department saying today that the February advance in the Consumer Price Index followed 0.3% increases in January and was the largest advance since the similar 0.4% increase in August. Over half the increase came from a second monthly surge in gasoline prices, which rose 6.4% after a 7.4% jump in January. Gasoline costs have been climbing since December, reflecting rising costs of crude oil. Consumer prices are up 1.7% over the past year, a still moderate performance for inflation, which is running below the Federal Reserve's 2% target for price increases. Core inflation, which includes volatile food and energy, was up just 0.1% in February and 1.3% for the past 12 months. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Tuesday, your market movers: Bahamas First moving 1,000 shares, closing up 7 cents to $2.90. Bahamas Property Fund moving 3,000, closing unchanged at $6. Cable Bahamas moving 1,319, unchanged at $3.56. Galena Holdings moving 1,500, unchanged at $5.20. Fidelity Bank moving 2,000, down 33 cents to $13.92. Consolidated Water moving 5,000 shares, closing up 10 cents to $3.01, and Emira Incorporated up 11 cents, closing at $10.08. The BISX All-Share Index closing at 1,954.65, down 3.12. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. It's time for a quick break. When we come back, we continue our discussion with the British High Commissioner, Sarah Dixon, here on Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Hear that? That's the sound of your money working for you. Because at CFAL, we know you work hard for your money, so we make sure your money works hard for you. In 20 years as a leading investment firm, we've helped thousands of Bahamians grow their wealth and build a more stable future. With savings plans, pensions, and wealth services to suit everyone, whoever you are, whatever you do, we have financial solutions that will work hard for you. Visit or call us today to put your money to work. CFAL, seize your future today.
For the past 33 years, Great Commission Ministries has been defending the poor and hurting, feeding the hungry, and sheltering the homeless. We invite you to support our Live to Give program and make a difference in these challenging times. Become a donor by giving a one-time annual gift or a monthly donation of $50 or $100. Call Great Commission Ministries at 325-5801 for more details, or visit our headquarters at 237 Wolf Road. Join Live to Give today. This public service announcement is proudly sponsored by this radio station.
Boy, why you look so mashed up like clothes at the washer?
No, boy, just a hard day, boy.
Hard day? What happened? The breakfast lady ran out of tuna and gritty.
We need to start joking about everything, you know. This serious, boy. This real serious, boy.
Boy, what's serious? Tell me.
All right, well, today, boss gave this boy one big contract. And nobody else get a chance and nobody say nothing.
Boy, you know that ain't right. You know government contracts ain't supposed to go that way.
Yeah, but nobody's saying nothing. Boss man just tell people to sign the papers. Then he send me to meet this boy downtown and collect this envelope.
You need to tell somebody. You need to become a whistleblower.
You know I's a real man, but I never blow no whistle. I be drunk all my life and junk, you know.
No way. A whistleblower is someone who tells people what they see when they see something wrong happening at work.
But I ain't no whistleblower, and I ain't no snitch. I still white there, you know.
But ain't nobody can know it's you. All you gotta do is call Crime Stoppers, or you could text them from inside the Crack Crime Bahamas app. They don't ask about you. And your call goes straight through to Miami, so nobody know you is. And if you text, your message get mixed up like Kong salad.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau, or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
We're back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with Chester Robards. We continue our discussion with British High Commissioner Sarah Dixon, and we're focusing on business and the relationship between the UK and the Bahamas in that regard. And so we got a text about it, and I was going to ask you about it, but people were saying that the UK only opened the High Commission here because of Brexit, because now that the UK is on their own and not a part of the EU, that the country will need as many friends out there as possible. Did that have a role, though, to play in this Brexit and reaching out now to other countries?
So I don't know if that's the case, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wouldn't want to say that the listener is completely wrong, because one of the parts of Brexit that we talk about has always been reaching out to the world and being what the Prime Minister calls Global Britain. And what that means is making sure we don't just focus on one region of the world and put most of our attention and resources there, but that we look more widely. The reason the High Commission reopened was more to do with this Commonwealth meeting. I think there was quite a strong pressure on the Foreign Secretary at the time from Commonwealth members, and it was to do partly with his strong belief, and now, of course, he's the Prime Minister, that the Commonwealth was an important body where we achieved many things together, and investing in that relationship involved having people on the ground representing the government rather than trying to do it remotely from another country. Yeah. Either way, whichever one it is, hopefully your listener will think it's good that we are here. Right. So whatever the driver might be, the fact that we're here and can listen and understand and link up better must be a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Now, we have many issues here in this part of the world, especially in terms of financial services and other countries in the Commonwealth as well, that have been on and off blacklists, especially from the EU. And of course, the UK was a part of the EU, but we, as Commonwealth nations, some are saying we should have been having the UK should have had our back, basically, at least come forward and help with these blacklists that have been causing many issues for these nations. Is that fair to say that the UK could have done more? And will we see the UK doing more in this regard going forward?
Yes. So I think one thing's true, that when you're the member of an organisation, you have conversations in that organisation which you don't necessarily talk about outside of it. One thing I can say is the UK has always been an advocate for free global trade, supporting our traditional partners in those conversations. And now we're not in the European Union. One thing that the government has already said is we won't have an EU-style blacklist. Mm-hmm. There is an OECD process which talks about how we as the world work together to stop illicit finance, terrorist drug financing. Mm-hmm. And they do provide recommendations, and they do have a list. The EU then did something on top of that and different, and you will not see that from the UK anymore. We're not part of the European Union. We don't plan to replicate that list or create a new one. And we will continue to do outside the EU what we did when we were a member, to say, why is there a separate list? What value does this add? This is not where the conversation should be happening. It's in the Financial Action Task Force with the set of rules that we've agreed and are working towards. And in fact, even during lockdown, somebody from our Treasury came here as part of that Action Task Force to support the Bahamas coming off the FATF, as it's known, grey list. So, these lists, I mean, I appreciate they can be incredibly frustrating. Again, your listener's question, that you'll mark a difference now with the UK in its independent state, not replicating that kind of activity. Although we do have the same objective, which is to work with countries around the world to make sure that the drug runners and the terrorists can't smuggle money through our banks. And how do we do that in a sensible way?
Right. I guess maybe part of the question too is, will we see a stronger stance in support of the Bahamas? Like we've seen Mia Mottley talk strongly to the EU about their blacklist and their list and their stance. Maybe is that something we could see moving forward from the UK?
It's a good question. I do know that in the financial services space, I very quickly exposed my lack of deep knowledge. But one thing I have done is I've spoken to lots of people who work in the banking sector here, so that perhaps I can help the UK understand better in detail what the Bahamas thinks. Of course, there's lots of conversations that have been going on before my time as High Commissioner, and they do quite quickly get detailed and technical. But one thing I have offered throughout is to try and help improve the UK's understanding of where the Bahamas might have a difficulty, so that we can work together on that area. And if you talk to someone in the UK who works in the banking sector, they have very high regard for the Bahamas and the financial services system here.
If you talk to people of a certain age, they will remember that years ago we had companies like Barclays and Marks and Spencer, I think it was called. What was it? St. Michael.
Something.
But we had these British stores, these British companies here, and we don't have many of that left. We
have biscuits, and we don't have biscuits.
We still get the biscuits, as you will say, which we call cookies here, but it's hard to find these British brands, and some people do want them and miss them. Are there opportunities now, especially with Brexit, that we might begin to see more companies and products here?
So everything about selling is to do with what people want to buy, and also the price they're prepared to pay. One great thing that we do have, and we've rolled over, and was something with an EU legacy, but that will continue, and we can change as like nation to nation, is the Economic Partnership Agreement, which sets the tariff rates for the Bahamas to sell things in the UK and for the UK to sell things in the Bahamas. And that agreement includes goods and also services, because actually we're both much more service economies than we are makers of things, both the UK and the Bahamas, much more in that kind of legal, financial service, tourism services, telecoms. Interestingly, one of the biggest Bahamian exports to the UK is telecom services. So it includes services as well as goods. And the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce is organising a webinar for businesses to ask questions and hear more about that partnership agreement. I think it's due next month in April. And all the details will be on our Facebook page, the UK and the Bahamas Facebook page, but also the Chamber of Commerce will be announcing it. And we're working with the Ministry of Trade, because what does business want? It wants to know what the rules are so it can sell goods and services. And that's where government comes in, is to explain the rules.
Have you been approached with any interest from the UK side, from anyone maybe wanting to start dialogues with people?
Maybe because of COVID, that hasn't been quite as much as I would have hoped. There have been a few conversations, but it doesn't feel very substantial at this point. There is a bit of a distance thing with goods as well, which can be a bit tricky. In fact, I went recently to a supermarket and was trying to spot what there was and wasn't on the shelves. because if I'm to talk sensibly to business, I can say that market, I can already see it, the products are here, so there must be someone doing it successfully. Or I can say, well, I can't see that on the shelf, so maybe it's worth you trying, and then vice versa. But like I say, I'm not sure if goods are going to be our biggest trading, feature.
Mm-hmm. I know there are some stores, or maybe one or two, that do get clothing from the UK in that trade vessel kind of thing. But I can't think of anything else that watches and that kind of thing.
Yes.
Yes, possibly.
Whiskey. We mentioned
whiskey. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I think food and drink. You mentioned it as well. I think the biscuits and things like that people appreciate.
Yes.
And can mark a bit of a difference. I've seen jams as well, jellies, as the Americans would say, cheeses, and some fresh produce as well. But there may be freight cost issues that mean that there's less of that than you would see. And I see some brands as well that I recognise from the UK on the shelves. There may be decisions for shoppers in difficult times, though. That product is likely to be more expensive than something more locally sourced. So there's always going to be a bit of a trade-off for a shopper.
And the other way around, from the Bahamas to the UK, I think it was along with what Chess was asking you, though. Do you see anything that you like, this might do well in the UK?
Yes, so that's one area where, in fact, when Chester and I met, we were talking to Bahamian businesses, and since the lockdown, haven't managed to do so much of that. Hopefully this webinar will help us get to know better the companies who are interested in that. There are products from the Bahamas that do well in the UK. Somebody was telling me about a vegan product, for instance. The kind of healthy eating and the natural products do seem to do well. There's also some more industrial things. Grand Bahama has quite a good industrial sector that slightly less interesting for the shopper, but interesting for business to business selling.
Well, I'm reading a book by Patrick Ramming that talked about where the Bahamas was back in the day. I won't say how far back in the day, but we did very well with tourists coming in to get those goods that we imported from the UK, because they didn't have to go so far to get them. But now global trade has kind of taken that market away from the Bahamas. Because
tourists from
you can,
like the US or something?
You can't easily just get something online and have it shipped to you, right? So they don't have to go on a vacation, or that wasn't just part of their vacation to come and find something novel from the UK as well. So that trade kind of relationship isn't there anymore. So things have changed a lot over the years, obviously.
Yes, and now it is more your skills and your services that we seem to be interested in as trading nations. You've got quite a strong legal profession, financial services we've already mentioned, tourism services as well, some consultancy work that happens where, in fact, some of that can be provided remotely as well. You don't have to actually now travel to do those things. And it seems to me that services space could be quite important.
Now, of course, we know this year, 2020, the pandemic and what it did impacted everything. But beyond that, in a normal year, do you have any figures as to the number of tourists who are coming from the UK here?
I don't off the top of my head. I do remember talking to the tourism minister about this when I first arrived. So these were, like a normal year numbers. And of European tourists, the UK was always the biggest proportion. But you've got two very close neighbours who dominate your tourism market, the US and Canada. So our numbers were very small compared to those, in the thousands, rather than, I believe, the US and Canadian tourists are in the millions. Usually, though, European tourists that come stay
much longer.
So their actual contribution to the economy can be stronger because they're coming here for a 2-week break or, to sail around, rather than, a quick stop off a cruise ship, which can make your numbers big, but not necessarily the contribution to the economy.
The perception is that Barbados is the preferred place in the Caribbean for the UK tourists. I don't know if that is the reality, but it does seem to be what we hear a lot about. you have any theories on that, and what can be done to get more British tourists to come here?
There are bigger numbers of tourists to Barbados and to Jamaica and a couple of other destinations. Maybe I should go and visit those countries. I can work out why.
Yeah.
I mean, I can say that having lived here now, I'm a massive advocate for the beauty of the Bahamas. I say I posted a picture of Long Island and everyone was like, oh, it's so amazing. And it is. I mean, the Bahamas have cornered the colour blue, haven't you? I mean, you seem to have
every single shade.
And you've invented some, I think. It's kind of crazy, and it's very beautiful. It is expensive here. Yep. I don't know if it's more or less expensive than the other countries of the region, because I don't know them well. I wonder if that's a factor, but that's just pure thinking out loud rather than knowledge.
I've heard weird things like Barbados is more British than their culture.
And I was going to say that.
Could that possibly be something?
Let's all go and check it out.
I agree. I haven't been, so I don't know.
I went for a few hours on a cruise, but I mean, would that be something? You think that could be an influencer there?
I don't know if British tourists are looking for something British when they go overseas. Why do you travel? You're looking for something different. So I don't know if that would be a factor. There could be some traditional routes or connections of people that mean that's happened more. I just don't know, truthfully.
Maybe they have more all-inclusives. Because when I worked at Sandals, we got a lot of British tourists.
Really?
Yeah, a lot. And obviously they stay long. 1 week, 2 week vacations, 3 weeks, some of them.
It's possible.
I don't know.
It's a long distance. You need to have it all figured out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. One thing that I think would be really good, obviously no promises here because they are companies and they will make company decisions, but it would be, you asked me a British Airways question earlier, it would be great if there were more routes from Europe to the Bahamas. I don't know if that's part of it, is that chicken and egg as well? Do you get more routes because you've got more tourists, or do you need more routes so you get more tourists? But it would be good to see.
Yeah. Any other industries or sectors that you think, we were talking about this off air, of course, whiskey, and so many countries around the world are doing it. You had some good theories as to why we might not be the best place for that, even though we have our rum and other liquors that we specialize in. But any other industries you think we need to take a look at?
In terms of things that the Bahamas could do, this is another one where if I say what I think the Bahamas should do, it'll make me sound like, I've come here to tell you your business. I think it's interesting when you talk to Bahamians about what the Bahamas feels it lacks. People tell me that they think they'd love to have a more vibrant agriculture sector. That Bahamians tell me they feel like they import too much food from elsewhere. I mean, basic food, not the kind of, we're talking about fancy goods, a bit special. But I don't know. I don't know the Bahamas well enough. Maybe you have a view on what the Bahamas needs better than I do. But there must be something in that space if people are worrying about it, I guess.
Yeah.
There may be some link up there, and this is where my understanding hopefully will help. So if there was a need, obviously we do have an agriculture sector. There may be some technology or some link up that I will then find to try and make happen. People to people links.
All right, let's take a break. And then when we come back, we will get to some of these messages we have here and talk more about business and linkages between the two countries, the UK and the Bahamas. And we may take that call as well, caller. So stay tuned. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're talking with British High Commissioner Sarah Dixon. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hello, sir. Your credit card bill is due. Hello, sir. It's time for your monthly loan payment. Tired of creditor pounding at your door? Sign up for a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank and consolidate your debt into one low monthly payment. What's more, you will also earn interest on a built-in savings account. The pandemic has curbed many freedoms, but at Fidelity, our focus is to help regain your financial freedom. Visit a branch or speak to Fidelity Bank at 356-7764. COVID safety measures in place at all branches. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Beulah, gal, can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood.
We now large and in charge, so we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too?
Of course we can.
But we could be in deep trouble if they find out.
We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami.
So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles.
Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal.
So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's your time.
Always on the go? Missed the show? You can now listen to Guardian Radio talk shows anytime, anywhere on Spotify and YouTube by searching Guardian Radio 96.9 FM or by entering the name of your favorite show. You can also listen by logging on to GuardianTalkRadio.com and clicking on the podcast tab. Guardian Radio, continuing to provide you with fresh news and smart talk anywhere, anytime, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need.
And time for your final check of weather for today. We've got strong high pressure just east of the Carolinas. That's influencing the weather here, continuing to support some fresh to strong winds over the islands through tonight. Small craft operators and beachgoers are being advised to remain in port and out of the water due to dangerous marine conditions, producing high seas, gusty winds, rough surf, and life-threatening rip currents, and motorists and pedestrians along coastal roads, especially north and east coast roads, being advised to exercise extreme caution. For today, look for mostly cloudy and windy and warm conditions with a few passing showers, especially in the northwest and central Bahamas, isolated showers, and the slight chance of isolated thunderstorms in the southeast Bahamas. High temperatures getting up to around 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 66 Fahrenheit, 19 Celsius. And in your extended outlook, high pressure will continue to maintain the breezy conditions and supporting hazardous marine conditions well into the weekend. So for tomorrow, Thursday, partly to sunny, warm, and windy conditions, a few quick passing showers. Friday, mostly sunny, warm, and windy with a few passing showers. Don't forget, we spring forward, returning to daylight time on Sunday at 2 a.m. That's your morning blend weather check.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. There's nothing you can know that isn't known. Nothing you can see that isn't shown.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio, Morning Blend Business. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards. We are talking with Sarah Dixon. She is the British High Commissioner. And we are talking about the UK and the Bahamas, relationship between the two countries. And this hour focusing on business, but we have been talking about quite a few things for the past few minutes. And let's take some of these calls that are coming in. And good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Mr. Strong.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, sir, Mr. Robards.
Good morning.
And good morning, Miss Sarah Dixon. I'm calling to ask Miss Dixon a question. I heard her say that she doesn't represent Her Majesty. Did I hear correct?
Yes, that's right. Because the Bahamas is a realm, the Governor General represents the royal family.
Okay, because when I heard that, I was really shocked because I would have sent an official letter to you with a grave concern as to whether or not the Governor General was appointed by Her Majesty because he has yet to be knighted, I believe, which could be a grave problem for the Bahamas because he is the one who has to assent to bills or proposed legislation, laws in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And if he wasn't, that could be a problem. But I know
Being
you said that
knighted is
he
a
wasn't
problem?
knighted.
No, that has nothing to do with
Hello?
that.
So I understand the concern. I mean, he has been knighted. What he hasn't received yet is the investiture ceremony. So the Queen, of course, because of COVID, has stopped meeting people face to face. So in fact, the Governor General was due to go for the ceremony in March 2020, which was just when the pandemic started. So I do know that the Governor General, all the proper legal processes have been followed. He has received the correct kind of legitimacy, if that's the right word. But the actual ceremony, unfortunately, the palace has not been able to do face-to-face activities for
I do
a period of
appreciate
time.
you responding to me because I was very concerned, even as it relates to the Chief Justice, why both of them have yet to be
Yeah,
knighted.
same situation.
Okay.
Chief Justice was due to go, in fact, with the Governor General,
Yes,
and for both of them, it will happen. It's just we need to get through the pandemic first. In order
Thank you,
for that.
ma'am. I appreciate
No
that.
problem. Good to talk to you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, thank you. Of course, one doesn't need to be knighted to be the Governor General, but okay. All right, well. All right, let's take this call. Okay, no. Okay. Oh, my. Some other interesting text messages coming in here. I don't understand this text here. Ask Ms. Dixon if you've watched Sidney Poitier in To Sir with Love. I don't understand that question. I apologize.
I tell you though, what a fabulous actor!
Yes.
I mean, seriously, you know that if you think about your country, you always think about the people that give you pride in your country, and I think Sidney Poitier is one of those that you can chalk up in the icons of the Bahamas because the man is an incredible actor. So
absolutely,
very good. I saw a beautiful photo of him taken by a British photographer, and the photographer said he'd love to come here and do an exhibition. So if anybody's in that realm, I'm happy to link you up with the photographer because it would be nice to have some a nice photographic exhibition when we're next allowed to do such things.
Speaking of the arts, off air we were talking about music, talking about the Beatles, and talking about the many great British artists that have come from all of the decades you can think of. Right now we've got quite a few who are excelling. And we talked about services and culture, and is that an opportunity for both countries? Our music, our entertainers, having more of a presence in the UK and vice versa. Is that something that we can look at and discuss?
I think that would be excellent. In fact, our scholar at the moment, our government-funded scholar, is in the UK studying film and television production. You have been a destination for many films, including some James Bond films close to many people's hearts.
Yes.
You have a fine tradition in music. So it'd be great for that orange economy, as they call it, the creative space, for there to be more linkages between the UK and the Bahamas. We'll have to maybe talk about that one in a bit more detail. But I do see it as a possibility. I know as well that it's something that the Bahamian government have said they would like to focus on more, as well as the UK government. So what's the job of a High Commission? You look where there's some kind of complementarity, and you then try and bring that together. So yes, let's explore it some more.
Right. I see messages are coming in. People might have been tuning in late, and we talked about this earlier about the Commonwealth, and you had your views, and you told us that all of this is up to us, up to the Bahamas, and nobody's forcing us to do these things. I just wanted to say that based on what the number of the text messages coming in. I don't know if you want to repeat that.
Yeah, I'm happy. I mean, happy to repeat that. People do ask me about the Bahamas and its status as a realm. We both have the same head of state, but that's where that kind of ends, really, in that the Bahamas can decide how they would like to do this. So the government would ask the people, I assume, and a decision would be made. Personally, I like having the Queen as my head of state. I think she's done a wonderful job. She's coming up for 70 years as our monarch now, which is incredible. I think her work ethic is amazing. So I'm to be honest, I'm on that side of the debate. But I know that this is even in my country. My whole life people have talked about, is this the right way to do things or not? So I think that's just a mature, educated discussion that it's sensible to regularly have and check in that you're happy with the way you do things.
Absolutely. All right. One, again, with business, if you do have a great idea and if you are thinking the UK would be a perfect market for you, what would you do? What can the British High Commission help? What steps would you recommend?
Yeah, so there's probably 3 things I'd recommend. First of all, our website, gov.uk. It's got the import licenses. It's got the details of how the frameworks work. It's got the tariff levels. Anything you need to know is on there. If you're not sure how to find it, we do on our Facebook page, UK and the Bahamas Facebook page, have a trade hub email address where you can ask them a specific question. That's also on the website, but you can ask us on Facebook and we can pass that on. And then next month, the Bahamian Chamber of Commerce is organising a webinar. So look out their Facebook page and ours for details of that, early April, where the Ministry of Trade here, ourselves in the High Commission and the Chamber of Commerce will be allowing businesses to hear about frameworks for exporting and ask us questions.
What if somebody does have a need for some expertise? Maybe they've seen something in Britain, and is that something they can come to you and say, look, we're doing a little bit of farming. We might want to look into producing whiskey. Is there anybody you could suggest? Is that something they can come to you for as well?
Yeah, so we've got a trade hub that answers all those queries, because of course I don't know all the people in the UK. I don't have the email address with me, but I do know it's on our Facebook page. So it's called the LATAG, Latin American and Caribbean Trade Hub, and they answer those kinds of questions and they put businesses together because people think I have more information immediately. There'll be limits. There'll be some things I'll know, but actually my trade folk will know the answer, find the people and answer that much more quickly.
All right, so once we get over this unbelievable year, what's going to be the first thing you do once the restrictions are lifted, once we are all vaccinated up? What will Sarah be doing first?
So I'd really like to meet people. I've spoken to lots of people or met them virtually, but there's nothing like seeing people in their context, being able to visit their place of work, the school, the organisation that they operate in. Because I think I've said it a couple of times, my job is to understand the Bahamas and then try and link that up with my understanding of the UK. And you only understand a place by meeting people and seeing things. So being able to get out and about a bit more will be really important.
It's wonderful. And again, we have you here for quite a few more years. So we're looking forward to it and having more discussions with you. Yeah?
No, I was going to ask, what's the first island that you want to get to? I know you mentioned Andros is one you want to get to. Is that on top of your list now?
Yeah, so I know that this is quite divisive. So I have already been to Eleuthera, Cat Island, Long Island, a bit of Exuma, but not all of it. I'd like to go to Andros. I want to go down south and see some flamingos. And I would like to visit some of the places I've already been and only kind of really scratch the surface because it is very beautiful country. So the other thing is Family Island views and activities do seem quite different to what you see in your province in Nassau.
Yeah.
And you can only understand that by seeing that and speaking to those people. So I'm hoping to do more of that as well.
Any food here that you love or have grown to like quite a bit?
So, of course, there is the all-pervasive conch.
Right.
You know, it's interesting how you seem to have the same name for the same thing. So, you know, like crack conch bites. They all seem to be very, very similar in many ways. But, I mean, it's a terrific product. It's always fresh. It's always wonderful. So that's really good. I've had some souse. I'm not sure it's my ideal breakfast moment, but, you know, it's a kind of a nice hearty stew. Reminds me of the UK a lot.
Right. Yeah. Well, as you said, we have got a lot of similarities. There. So this has been great. Thank you so much. We look forward to talking with you.
Thank you.
More, and when you've had a chance to see more of the country, and we can talk more about that. But thank you so much for being here this morning.
That
really
would be
appreciate
great.
it.
You know, thank you very much, and I hope you and your listeners will have a very nice week.
Yes,
Thank you.
You as well. Sarah Dixon, thank you so much. We're going to take a quick break and then be back to wrap things up. This is Morning Blend Business here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Hear that? That's the sound of your money working for you. Because at CFOW, we know you work hard for your money, so we make sure your money works hard for you. In 20 years as a leading investment firm, we've helped thousands of Bahamians grow their wealth and build a more stable future. With savings plans, pensions, and wealth services to suit everyone, whoever you are, whatever you do, we have financial solutions that will work hard for you. Visit or call us today to put your money to work. CFOW, seize your future today.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Love, love, love. There's nothing you can do that can't be done. Nothing you can sing that can't be sung. Nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. Nothing you can make that can't be made. No one you can save that can't be saved. Nothing you can do, but you can learn how to be you in time. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need.
That is it for us today. Chester Robards, thank you so much.
Always a pleasure.
Sticking around. And we'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend business at 9 o'clock, right after Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great day. On the Clock is next with Aaron Green. Stay tuned.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.